Yeah, 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 yeah. Okay, okay, okay. Mic check. Mic check. All right, guys, it's the Mac here. Let me just get some guys in the game. Okay, give me a second. Let's see what we got here. Might need to get a few links out. Let's get a few links up. Let's see what we got. See what we got here. Connect 4. More. Yeah. Okay, let's take that. Put that in there. Get that in there. Get that connection there. Get that more. All right, all right, all right. All right, all right, all right, all right, all right, all right. Let's see what we got. All right. Trying to see if this thing is live. Got one viewer. Okay, guys. So as the title suggests, you know, this podcast, aka Talkback episode, aka debate, it's going to be covering one particular important subject. But I'm just trying to make sure a couple of guys get in here first before I really kick off the game. You know, so you're gonna have to bear with me a little bit. See, I've chosen one here.
Hey.
All right. Yeah, I'm just looking for one more geezer in here. And before I actually start what I was gonna say, you know. Let's see. All right. Yeah, so as I said, subject is going to be specifically about a particular picture that's been doing the rounds. Well, it's not actually been doing the rounds yet, but it will be. And there have been a few trailers that have come out, but I think primarily let me just do a quick check on people's health and well-being. So, Chosen One, how are we doing today?
I'm doing well. How about you?
Man, you know, getting old, man. You know, things aren't the way they used to be anymore. Things aren't that fresh, but I'm still alive. You know, I mean, that's the main thing. You know,
yes.
Still breathing.
Yes.
But you know, I mean, look, the state of the fan game now is at an all-time low.
Mm.
It's actually at an all-time low. It's subterranean. And that's pretty much why, you know, guys haven't seen me around, because things are so bad. Oh, sorry.
You gave up?
I don't even want to say that, because to even say I gave up would even be too light. It's actually too light. It's like, it's more than that. It's like I've lost faith I've lost faith in mankind, basically. It goes you know what, actually, let me be honest with you. It actually goes beyond fandom. It actually goes to like life in general, because I think the things that have actually happened in the movie game, in all these movies that have been thrown in our faces over the last few years, it actually belies a collapse of society. That's what I think.
You don't see any rays of light in that darkness, though? Don't you think a few things?
Pitch black, man. I really don't. I mean, there is. Give me a ray of light. Give me one. Tell me something.
I mean, if we're just sticking in the context of films, I mean, as far as fandom goes, no. You know, in general, then yeah, you're right. It is pretty dark, but I think we've had a few good films this year. You know, The Taxi Driver, recommended by Maniacal, I thought was fantastic. I loved it.
What Taxi? What?
A Taxi Driver. It's not a remake of the Nero film. It's a South Korean movie. It's its own story. Highly recommended. Very, very.
Oh no, South McCranus Cinema is always very good, man.
Oh, yeah. Hi. Oh, hi. How are you? How are you?
Yeah. Double
okay,
it.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah. Popping in, man. Popping in.
Okay. Cool, man.
I really enjoyed Blade Runner. I thought that was good. There are certain story points of the sequel that I did not agree with, but overall, the tone was right up my alley. Look, we've had actually a few. You know, for me, it's about, and I know we're going to get into Star Wars.
That film, my dear friend, was a supremacist movie, but you know that's a whole other conversation.
What? I didn't even hear you.
Sorry, what? Sorry, what?
What language was?
What? No, I don't know. I have no idea what was said over there. Look, man. Basically, this is what I'm gonna say. Okay, and this is just the prologue to what we're going to be discussing. As I said, I mean, listen, I forgot Justice League was out. I forgot, like, this film is actually out. Seriously, like, if somebody had told me many moons ago that a film with Batman and Superman and Flash and like a Justice League movie was actually going to come out in like live action, and I wouldn't even know, like I wouldn't care about that movie, I would have actually thought you were crazy. And I'm saying that this as recently as probably like 7 years ago. Like things have gone that low that listen, not only have I not gone to watch this film, I'm actually comfortable without watching it. Like I don't even feel any hard not to watch it. It's like I just can't be bothered to watch the movie. Like there are actually other, like if they brought out The Office Part 2 with David Brent, I'll actually be more excited to watch that than going to watch Justice League. And that says a lot. You know, that actually says a lot. All right, look, I'm gonna kick this off. I was actually waiting for Phantom of Hope was trying to get in. Sorry, what?
Does he have the new link?
The
old one doesn't.
Actually, let me have a look here. Let me see what he has. Yes, I actually believe he does.
We just said Gal Gadot is trash.
Whoa, you can't, that's very rude.
So I'll just put that out there.
That's very
and Ben Affleck is trash as Batman. Crap.
That's
but then again, no one really cares, do they? So
you care. You care, don't you have hope?
What?
Sorry, what? I said that you care though. All right, look, man, let's stop babbling about here. Let's actually get into this thing. Because I don't know where Half Hope is, and I was going to try and wait, but I mean, I don't know what's going on with this thing. I mean, have you spoken to him? Like, what's happening? I sent him what? Did you send him this link? Does they have this link?
Who are you asking? You're asking me, or?
No.
Yeah. I sent him this current link, so.
And he hasn't got back to you.
No, I mean, I put it in the chat room, so.
Okay. Well, he's listening to me on YouTube. What is going on here? Listening to me. All right, look, man. I think I might as well just kick this off because I don't think this guy. I think he's having some technical problems. What? Can't you just click on the thing?
Yeah, so it depends on what browser. I don't know if he's using Firefox, or sometimes it won't work if you have the wrong browser. So just tell him to switch it up, see what happens.
Yeah, but you have to be signed into Google to join, don't you?
Yeah. But some browsers don't work.
Yeah, but it's not like he hasn't used this before. Yeah. Look, I don't know what's going on with this thing. We can't be here all night, can we? All right, look. All right, look, man. Look, you know what the funny thing is about this? It's actually very, very difficult to begin because it's like, do you trace this backwards from the trailer I just watched yesterday? Or do you actually start from the beginning? That's actually the difficult thing because.
Well, the beginning of what?
The beginning of the fiasco.
When did that start?
Oh man, I mean that started in 2012, to be honest. But you know, if we're really talking, when our good friend Georgie Porgy sold his thing, but you know, I mean, if we're actually having a real conversation here about what's going on, but we're trying to isolate this to this particular film that's just come out, or that is about to come out. So I think really the preview, and the reason why I wanted to do this preview was I had a lot of thoughts about this because for various reasons, you know, and I know that we had a very in-depth and detailed conversation about Force Awakens last year, which went into like many areas about that particular film. And that being said, it's not like I really want to. I mean, I guess you just sort of have to. So I mean, look, I want to open it up. So I've talked a lot. So I just want to open it up to you guys just to begin with this, and then we'll get into the conversation about our thoughts about Last Jedi, because you know I realized that because Chosen, you're not really a Star Wars guy, are you?
Not compared to like some of the aficionados, no. But I really enjoyed the concept, the idea, and what the story could be, if that makes sense.
Right, exactly.
I hate Star Wars, so that's where I stand.
Oh, sorry, that's a good. So why do you hate Star Wars particularly exactly again?
Oh no, I mean as of 2017, I hate Star Wars because it's
No. That's not what I meant. I'm talking about in general. That's where
no, but that's what it's that's why it's look, it's a detailed, complicated answer because obviously I don't hate Star Wars overall because again, I still think that George Lucas's original trilogy is the best film trilogy out there. But the fact of the matter is that if we're talking Star Wars, we have to talk about Star Wars as of now in 2017 and take the full spectrum. And the full spectrum is it's owned by Disney. It's corporate. It's void of any true.
You know what's funny?
Creativity.
You know what's funny? You know that I don't like Star Wars anymore. This film is actually like I see posters for Star Wars and like I have like a very sick feeling. Like
that's like me. That's like me with Game of Thrones. But yeah, go ahead.
You know what? See, this is the thing. This is trauma talking. It's trauma because that was like part of my soul. Like I was created by Star. Like I don't think you understand. Star Wars is like a cornerstone of pretty much everything I've ever made. So for me to tell you that I don't like Star Wars anymore, it's like I don't like myself. That's actually what it's. No, seriously. It's like I have to go to therapy now to be talking about like how I feel about myself as a human being because I actually have issues with aspects of my own personality because I don't like Star Wars anymore. That's what I'm talking about. Because for real, like it's a very weird thing. Like I see trailers for this movie, I'm like, I just feel like, what is this rubbish? What is this rubbish?
Well,
I cannot believe it.
Well, I don't know if you guys want to get into like detailed specifics now.
But no. That's what I'm saying. Because I also wanted to, which is why I wanted to open it up to the ground just to see where to check people's temperature. Because then we're now going to go into like the details of what's, because you see, this is the problem for me as well. I was so disgusted with the trailer that I've only watched it twice. I've only watched that trailer twice from beginning to end. Listen, I watched what's that movie with Sofia Coppola? That Sofia Coppola movie with that she just brought out, Beguiled. The Beguiled or something. Look, the point is I watched The Beguiled 3 times. Okay? The trailer for it. I've watched the Star Wars trailer less than I watched Sofia Coppola's trailer. A movie that you know, if you caught my ghost in the cinema, it wouldn't be me. I deny it. Like, but I watched that trailer 3 times. So the point I'm trying to make is that I've actually watched the Star Wars trailer less than I watched a movie that I would never watch. So that is the levels to which we're talking about here. So it's going to actually be quite difficult for me to even really go into that much detail as to my thoughts on specifics on to do with that thing.
Well, we'll see. You know, once we start to kick off the conversation, I think you'll have quite a bit.
Yeah, probably. All right, look. Let's see, where do we begin? All right, look. So basically, you know, this is where I'm going to start. Okay, and I'll just start with the points, and then I'll open up, and you guys can see what you think. You see, we had a little issue. Okay, these guys released a movie last year called Force Awakens. Was it last year that movie came out?
2 years ago.
It was.
Yep.
Listen, man. It was 2 years ago.
That says a lot.
Oh my God. Okay, so 2 years ago, Force Awakens came out, right? And we said a lot. And I said that, you know what, these guys have dug themselves into a deep, deep hole because they've done like some story things here and some things with these characters that I don't actually quite know how you're going to get out of it. No, seriously, it's like, so that's where I want to begin. It's like, you did some things that I'm like, wait a minute, this is not going to be easy for you to get out of. Oh, God. Okay, anyway, this is not going to be easy for you.
What the hell?
It's not going to be easy for you to get out of. So let's just take point by point. Let's take.
Pete, why would you do that?
Okay, let's go. Let's go point by point. Okay. First of all, you've got a character you've got a character in the first movie that's already done everything. So you're screwed there. You've got a villain who has already been beaten, so you're screwed there. You've killed Han Solo, so Han Solo's dead. Chewbacca is finished because now his main guy's gone, so that character's dead. You've got another main character who's in a coma, so you've got to now wake him up like basically you've got to figure out a way to wake the guy up in the next movie. You've got who am I forgetting? Who are the other guys in there?
I mean, are you just listing guys or where they're at?
Yeah, I'm just saying that this is what happened in the first movie.
Karen,
explain
the Coon.
And I just think
whoa. Damn. It's a bit harsh. So you've got a situation going on. So the point I'm making is that, like, so when they were going into this movie, I already thought to myself, I said, wait, you know,
hello?
Yeah.
Oh, you can hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Oh, thank goodness. Oh, hi. Hello, everybody. How's it going? Chosen one. That's how everybody. Yeah, look. I had to copy this long-winded code. Look, I don't know how this thing was. I thought I was going to come to Google first of all before going to like YouTube. It said I should go to YouTube. YouTube, I could type, but I don't think you could hear me on YouTube.
What is this picture?
Well, basically, obviously, that's what we're dealing with now. Is there really anything left to be said? That's the rubbish that we've been saddled with. Thanks to that punk J.J. Abrams.
Okay, so I'm okay. Just you before you go, America. I'm just going to say a few things later on in the discussion. I'm going to challenge some of the Rey notions that some people have on the line. Just prepare yourselves for that.
Oh Lord. Okay.
Whoa, challenge.
Trust me, Chosen One. I can't wait. So.
Oh, trust me, because to be honest, on this talkback, I'm ready to just basically just, you know, lay it on the table because I'm kind of retired myself. All right.
I mean, look, you know what's so funny? Like I said,
I'm just
wait.
like, I think that in all honesty, I'll just putting this out there because again, for me, the reason why
why is everyone so honest?
My thing is that because again, like I've gotten extremely frustrated as well because hence why you've not seen me on Talkback for a long time. But I just think that my frustration is because I didn't even want to really do this because again, my frustration has been building and I've just kept it within myself. So again, guys, I'm going to say some things where you may probably just say, you know what, this guy is off his rockers. But again,
okay, but no. I think obviously what we've seen in the public and the world now is that it's time now to literally just say what you feel, be honest about it, get it off your chest, and that's that.
Well, look, I mean, like I said, I think this is the thing for me, right? I think the thing that's making me laugh is because if you listen to that talk back that we did 2 years ago, I thought it was last year, 2 years ago, and you listen to this now, it's like these people have beaten the life out of guys, you know, because I mean,
okay, well, I've got it.
No, but the thing is that look, people who know me personally, I don't really like Star Wars anymore. Like,
okay, but let's just we have to be careful here. Let's really get into specifics now, because if you're saying that they've really beaten the life out of it now, I want to know what's the difference between how you're feeling now or the situation now as opposed to when we did that talk post the film 2 years ago. What has really changed that much?
Oh man, I mean, my God,
Chosen One stuff has changed, bro.
Chosen One, man. Things have got. I thought things were bad then, but you know that since have you seen the things that have actually even come out since then? Like, it was bad then. Now it's like I can't go to the cinema to watch anything.
No. Well, that question was, you know, I was staying in the context of what's going on in Star Wars.
Man, I mean, my God, listen, man. Look, I'm just
saying, let's get into specifics.
No, exactly specifics. Look, I mean, look, we saw Rogue One. I said a lot of stuff that I had to say about Rogue One. Okay, Rogue One to me, as far as I'm concerned, the movie didn't even happen. So it's like we're now here. Like I don't even feel like that movie even existed. So that is what's happened in between, and we saw what that deal was. But then it's like the truth of the matter is this, and that's what I started this talk back by saying. There were some foundations that were laid in that last movie that annoyed me so much. Got everybody so upset.
Okay, but
it retired me.
Okay, but
I got retired of Force Awakens. I was finished.
Okay, but
is that I already knew what was coming.
Okay, but Mark, just so we really, you said there were some foundations laid. Can you name some? Let's really.
Like I said specifically, I said, listen, if you go into a situation, okay, where you're so bent and focused on trying to get a female lead hero Jedi that you twist the entire franchise. I'm not talking about the movie. I'm talking about like literally the entire lore and franchise, like everything, to manipulate it to facilitate you doing that. You've basically killed the goose. Like it's dead. Like when you watch Force Awakens, you're like, oh my God, these people have literally all the basic rules about how these things are supposed to go just been thrown out the window, just so you can get this person to be the most amazing creature that you've ever seen in this galaxy in history.
So it wasn't the fact that they had a female in there.
Of course not. Come on.
Okay. No, I just want to be, because I just want, that's how people are going to take it when they hear.
Of course, no, because people always want to take it that way because it's a cop out. It's the easy way to rebuff things. It's like it's just a cop out. It's like, oh, you know what? For example, like you can have somebody who gets accused of rape, right? The second that you look at it and say, wait a minute, you don't know if this person is guilty yet. You're automatically you're blaming the victim. So to be honest, you just have to accuse somebody and the person's guilty. It's the same sort of mentality that you have. We're like, hey, hang on a second. Nobody said that a female Jedi is a bad thing. Of course not. That's fine. But don't mess up the entire... make it organic. Don't like destroy like basically look from the ground up on this thing. It was a mess because you're like, okay, look, you're going to make a female Jedi, and I don't listen. You know what? This is actually even talking about Force Awakens, which we shouldn't be talking about at this point.
We're going to have to go back.
Yeah, we're going to have to go back. Even if you're going to have a female Jedi, you're like, why? You're casting somebody who categorically doesn't even walk in this part of role or this sort of role. It's like you're looking at somebody like from the beginning, from the beginning, before the person has even said anything. Like, hold on a second, how are you going to go from Luke Skywalker to somebody like this? Doesn't make any sense.
So okay, so just a really quick question: if you just offering an alternative,
yeah, talk to me.
What sort of female lead could have worked?
Game of Thrones girl. What's her name? What's her name?
Williams.
Yeah, Miss Maisie Williams. That's who should have been. And if she was Rey, then I would. Do you know what's so funny about that? If they literally cast her as Rey and she did the same exact things, it would have actually made it 50% more bearable if she was the person doing those same things.
Okay, so now I've got to challenge you a little bit on that. So what is the difference between? So are you saying it's her acting ability? What is it about Maisie Williams that?
I'll tell you what it is. It's easy.
Daisy Ridley can't act. She actually can't act though. So
okay, well I'm looking. Okay,
Williams, I tell you, it's very simple.
Wait.
I'll tell you very simple. I'll tell you very simply. Half Hope is right. Part one. Maisie Williams is a better actress, like obviously. Second thing is this, and this is the most important factor. When you put somebody like that as the lead, you're already making a statement. You're making a statement that we're not trying to idealize the physical appearance of the hero, whereby people cannot relate to this. Like you're looking at this, really like, wait a minute, who is this representing? The everyman? Because the idea of Luke Skywalker and all these sort of guys that you got is like you're exactly a ragtag bunch, you're going out there, tomboys, whatever. You're supposed to create somebody who, like, I can feel this person is connected to a regular person. So you look at Miss Williams and her whole characterization on Game of Thrones, forget even her looks and all this sort of stuff, just her personality. It's so much more realistic than anybody else that they've put in there. That if she was doing this, I'm like, oh, I automatically, before she's even said anything, I already believe that she's the character that she's supposed to be playing. Like I see, I'm like, yeah, I cannot buy that she'd be this sort of person who's like an orphan and she's doing this thing. You know what I mean? But the problem with that is that Maisie Williams is not a classic princess. So you can't do this whole fantasy thing of, duchesses and because that's basically what they're doing. And that's the twisted thing about it, because why would you want to make a princess out of a urchin or orphan in Star Wars?
You said a princess? Where are you?
No. You see, now that's what I'm saying. That's the subtlety of it. She's not supposed to be Princess Leia, right? No, she's not supposed to be Princess Leia. And even if she was Princess Leia, and you look at what Carrie Fisher was like when she was young compared to Daisy Ridley, it's not even the same thing. What you're talking about here is that they've literally created somebody who would be the princess in Cinderella. Like, Daisy Ridley is like the princess out of like a classic Disney cartoon, basically. So, so when you're asking me the question of like, oh, who should they have cast? I'm like, it's so. I picked out Maisie Williams from Game of Thrones because that's easy. That's an easy choice. It's like that's obviously who I think that they should have picked.
Well, since we're being honest here, I'm just going to be okay. So I guess my question to you then is, what else have you seen Maisie Williams in? Are you saying
what has Daisy really done before Star Wars?
No. Well, here's the thing: the burden of proof now isn't on. I'm not.
Yes,
I know how it sounds.
Yeah, but one thing, a show as big as that, and that one thing is enough.
Really,
you can give an entire franchise to people who you've never seen them do anything before. Like, do you know how many heroes like Chris Hemsworth or whatever who had ever seen Chris Hemsworth do anything before?
No, but I mean, I'm not disagreeing with that. But if you're gonna say that Maisie is better than Ridley as far as in the acting department, I'm asking, what are you looking?
Because by the time that they made Force Awakens, we'd seen 4 seasons of the biggest show on television.
Right, but then you're saying, okay, so that's your only sampling.
That's all you need. What more do you need? Maisie Williams. No, listen. Do you know what's so crazy based on what you're saying? No, think about what you're saying.
Okay.
This girl on this show is doing literally what she would need to do in Force Awakens. She's literally doing what she would be required to do. Look at what she was doing in that show every week.
Okay, but here's well, number one, I'm not impressed with her performance on Game of Thrones post season 1. Let me just make that clear. Second point is, what if you put Ridley in the role of Arya?
Listen, man, first of all, you're drunk, man. You're drunk.
Oh Lord,
that's an amazing statement.
Okay, look, I'm just what I'm saying is,
where are all those dragons?
As far as the acting on Game of Thrones, especially recently, I don't think that's anything to point to prove a point. That's all.
Wait, Chosen One. Can I just ask you a very quick question, Chosen One? Just a quick question.
Sure.
And this was a simple yes or no. Do you think Daisy Ridley is a good actress?
Good, no.
Yes or no?
No, but then ask me that same question.
Let me ask you.
Wait, hold on. Now then ask me that same question.
Do you think she can act?
Say again?
Do you think she can act?
Do I think she can act?
Yeah. Because we've gone past the fact, okay, whether she's good or bad. I'm asking, do you think she can?
Well, here's the thing. But that's the thing. Well, here's the thing. If we're really going to answer that question, if the answer is yes, then Have Hope can act, then the Merc can act, then I can act, then anybody can act.
No, but you know what he means, though. He means that look, I can obviously.
Basically, Chosen One, the kind of skills that should give you your certificates to be a professional to earn money. Yeah. Do you think she can act?
No, but then you have to take out a lot of people.
Look, man. Look. Chosen One, look.
She can't act.
That's a low bar. That's a low bar.
That's the problem.
Okay. I just want to be. I haven't actually seen her in anything other than The Force Awakens. Have you guys? Can you name a few films you've seen her in?
Chosen One. This is the problem.
No, but
you're trying to argue about.
No. I'm asking questions. I'm not arguing.
Look, I haven't. No, I haven't seen her.
Okay, but that's what I'm getting at, though. It's like I don't understand how. Okay, is it a fair statement to say that all great actors or all good actors have made bad films with maybe mediocre performances?
You know what? Listen,
I'm trying to get where you guys are getting.
Okay, wait, Chosen One. Put it this way. So the point that we're making, I've seen all the seasons of Game of Thrones so far, and in all of the seasons, in my opinion, personally, Maisie Williams has shown that she can act. Is she an amazing actress? Probably not. But I think, first of all, she can act. And because she's got such a unique personality and an interesting personality, it makes her an interesting character throughout the show. Daisy Ridley doesn't have the very basic foundations.
She's easily one of the only people I watch that thing for.
So basically, that's the difference is that Daisy Ridley, at the very base level, can't actually deliver lines with varying levels of emotion. At the very base level, she's got as much personality as a doorknob. At the very base level, she's got zero about her character.
That's a doorknob that hasn't been turned yet.
Okay.
So that's the real thing. So I mean, basically, I'll let the method. Basically, this relates to the British Empire. This relates to racism. This relates to whiteness, but I'll delve into that after.
Very careful. Very.
That's fine. For me,
look, I've got nothing to lose. So, you know.
Well, it's just one of the things. If I were to pluck out a few things that you said that Maisie Williams has an interesting personality.
Oh yes.
Okay, where did you get that from?
No. Basically, I think it's a combination because I've lived in England and I've known girls like her. So maybe that is maybe something that I may have over you, whether you don't really know girls like those living in America. But for me, it's like I look at her character and I look at just the way that she how she interacts with people, and I know
that's a very important point. It's like
so basically, she's definitely somebody who stands out more as opposed to the other kind of characters in the show because she's just got such an interesting.
Wait a minute,
which isn't like posh, straight down the line, simple. So
just make a point that links to what Havok just said about he knows, because the Merc was saying that that is a very important point. just linking to the point that you see, if the Americans gave the same level of scrutiny to Daisy Ridley as they would to an American actress, then half Hope's points would be redundant. Because they will literally look at a person and say, is this actress or actor delivering the goods? But they don't. So therefore, American people, all they see is a white English girl speaking in this English accent.
Okay, but
and all logic flies out the window.
Okay.
Because you should be able to tell them, like I'm sorry, you're as a female actress, your timing, the way you deliver your lines, the way you emote, even look at. I mean, see, and think this. Okay, you know what? Because I've got like a billion points, so I'm not going to even say. So I let whoever's talking out finish, and I'll comment later because it's quite fantastic, really. Sorry, so I think was it half of that I was talking about?
No. I mean, the back was the guy.
No, all I was going to say was that the point you were making was that people like who, Daisy Ridley or Maisie Williams.
He's saying he knows people like Maisie, right?
No, yeah, like Maisie Williams.
Oh, listen.
Actually, no, I know both, but my I know people like Maisie Williams. So I think that for someone like who is American, you may not really kind of understand the nuances of characters and people like those.
For me, it's like for anybody to see Maisie Williams on Game of Thrones and not know that this person should be taken more seriously.
Well, that's
me. Because I'm like,
you don't know how Americans view those kinds of.
No, I know. Which is why I thought that the point you were making was very important, but I thought you were talking about the other person. Because you see, the problem is this, right? The romanticization of British aristocracy and English royalty is so great for Americans, especially, that they've tried to replicate it a million times with the Kennedys, with their own sort of celebrities and everything. Celebrities are like because there is nothing that sort of white America wants more than to be royal. You know what I'm saying? To have that sort of taste of royalty, even though you broke off from the royal family, you still have like romanticization of royalty and English aristocracy. So that literally,
which is Hollywood is the substitute.
Yes, no, that's what I'm trying to say. So literally, if you hear anybody like Hugh Grant come across your face, anybody like Daisy Ridley come across your face, anybody like Hugh Dancy, Christopher Nolan, anything, it's literally 50% of your scrutiny goes out the window because this person is already incredible. It's like, oh my God.
Well, we know.
If the person is, listen, and this cuts both ways. I'm going to tell you this cuts both ways. Because even if you're racist, right, and you're black, and you speak like Christopher, like Steve McQueen, if you speak like Steve McQueen and you're black, it still helps you. So you can even be black and it's still going to help you because they're like, there is a level. So the point I'm making here is that Daisy Ridley was never going to be criticized the same way because you've put somebody up there that half of like white America wants to be. They want to be like this, they want to be Daisy Ridley. So it's like you hear that it's like you already want this person to be to succeed and to be the winner and to be. Let alone you combine that with sort of feminism and a female lead and all this sort of stuff. So you've got a situation here where literally all the rules are out the window now. Like all the things that you would have criticized are gone. There is no scrutiny whatsoever. Anything goes. So you're watching a film and a franchise, and you're thinking, wait a second. Because remember, listen, they didn't treat her the way they even looked at the Rogue One person. Because the Rogue One person actually looks a bit more normal, which is actually funny because they sound similar. But Daisy Ridley is like literally like a Disney princess. It's like,
I don't see it.
Oh, listen, I know you don't.
Wait. You don't see what?
A Disney princess?
Oh my!
I don't see it.
Okay, well, okay.
Look at this picture. That's
I mean, look.
I can put a tiara on the most,
and they look like this.
No, of course.
This guy, you're funny, man. Look, you know what? You're funny. listen, it really is like, and you know what? Which is why I said that Half Hope's point was really good. Half Hope's point was good because you don't come from the UK. I know this person. This is an archetype that a lot of English people, when they even saw the movie, they were angry about it because they were like, why would somebody like this be in Star Wars? It doesn't even make sense. Because this is like, it's an archetype of something that even English people, a lot of English people can't be. A lot of English people are more connected to Maisie Williams than they can ever be to somebody like that, like Daisy Ridley.
Okay, but that also...
Here is the point. Okay, look. Okay, chosen one. Like, here's the point that during the press conference, the premiere for The Force Awakens, and see, and this is why I said I'm very tired and I'm very bored and very tired, and I'm going to be very as honest as possible during this talk. But during the premiere for The Force Awakens, these guys are always are on Star Wars Celebration. Two well-known reporters. They were on the red carpet, and everyone was going crazy. Like, this was the premiere, everyone was going mad. And basically, you just saw that this is where the Star Wars fever was basically hitting its crescendo, because people were just literally going crazy at this premiere. Spielberg was there, everybody was there. Then you could see it was beginning to overwhelm Daisy Ridley, because she was starting to think that, what is she doing here? Is she really good enough to be doing? Because Daisy Ridley herself knows that she's not very good. A lot of these, which is why the things that you don't know how these guys, a girl like Daisy Ridley is actually very, very intelligent. She knows exactly what all this is going on, and when she's done with this Star Wars thing, she'll kick it away like a bad habit. Look at what Mark Hamill is today in Star Wars Celebrations, and I hope you can get a spaceship and go forward in 50 years to 60s and see what Daisy Ridley will be like to the Star Wars fraternity.
Well, I don't need a time machine.
Fair enough. But let's put that to the side. Let's take Daisy Ridley's reaction during that premiere. She actually tells the reporter that, to be honest, this is all very nice, but I'd rather be back in England now, actually, to be honest. And the reporter was completely baffled. And he just looked at her and kept smiling. He goes, "Oh, that's a strange thing to say." He goes, yeah, I know, but this is all very, very nice, but to be honest, I'd rather be back in.
Look,
who the hell says that?
Well, she's not the first to, I guess, show that lack of interest into a franchise that's held dear by so many. That doesn't surprise me at all. I think we're sort of going off the beaten path here. I'm kind of, maybe we can sort of get back to, some of the...
Listen, this thing is so messed up that we haven't even started the real talk. Like,
that's what I said. It's like, because first of all, because what I'm trying to establish here is that we have a franchise, Star Wars, right? And we're talking about how things have fallen. So if it's about, let's go with the beaten path, where the jump off point to now has to be like, you're looking at episode 8. You're looking at, here is where they're going with all of this, right? And then you now have to say, so what is the legacy that this thing is going to have? What exactly is Star Wars today? Because it all comes down to Daisy Ridley. So if you're talking about Star Wars, you're talking about Daisy Ridley. If you're talking about Star Wars, you're talking about Luke. If you're talking, that's the conversation. So what I'm talking about here is, what is her fitness to be in this role? Now, obviously, you probably think that she's fine and she's capable and she's doing an okay job, right?
Can I just stop you real quick? When you say, when we're talking about the Star Wars legacy from this point, we have to be talking about Daisy Ridley. Why aren't we talking about the person behind this new trilogy or the people behind this new trilogy? Why is it about her? For me, when I think about...
Because the people behind this trilogy, do you know all that these people are? They are leeches and they're hacks and they want... Listen, Half Hope broke that story to us about Disney now wanting 70% of tickets from cinemas instead of the regular 50-50 take for the theaters and the producers of the film. That is all they care about. So if the people like yourself or the fans say, we want Pinocchio as the lead, they'll put Pinocchio there. The fans always have had the power. That's the point why Daisy Ridley is important, because she is there because the fans have accepted her. So this is what links into Endgame. Endgame is that you're in a position now where the fans are so mentally corrupted. They are actually perpetuating the deterioration of everything around us. Like David Fincher made this brilliant point. It is a fantastic point, which blends into Star. Because one of the first points I dropped when Daisy Ridley got named as the lead was that, why is there no conversation about Daisy Ridley being the first female lead in Star Wars? No one is saying that, okay, say no, kick her out. She should know, but at least discuss it, like Furiosa in Mad Max. At least have the discussion. Oh, thank goodness, we finally have a female. We all praise the Lord. You can say that. There was zero conversation.
Wait a minute, when was this?
When she got announced that she was the lead in Force Awakens, like 5 years ago. There was zero conversation from any fans. Nobody said anything. Which leads to only one very weird psychological point, which is that people know it's screwed up, but you're just not allowed to say anything. So
people did talk about it.
So you just crack on with it. Same as Ben Affleck.
People did talk about it. What are you talking about? They did. There was a lot of talk about her being.
I specifically remember there not being a conversation about this. On StarWars.com, Force.net, like, because I was on there all the time waiting for the blowout. There was no blowout. So it's one of those. Now, what I'm saying is that looking back with what you call it, Ben Affleck now in Batman as well, the guy has come out and he's bad. We all know he's bad, but no one says anything because there's nothing to be said. People just crack on, and that is what I mean about the mental deterioration of the audience. Coming back to what I said about David Fincher. David Fincher said that literally going to the cinema now, the cinemas are still packed. They're still full, yes, but they're full of kids with popcorn on their mobile phones. Because watching a movie now is like going to a bonfire. And his words were perfect. Because that is what the cinema is now. That is how Daisy Ridley can exist. Because you're going for this kind of explosion of these fireworks that all blends into your day out at the cinema. So the scrutiny and requirements of quality for you to be entertained is so much less. And this goes on to a point that the Merc made, that it's a very, very clever and effective manipulation by the studios by recultivating the taste buds of the audience to actually be rubbish. Because now the requirements is so low. How do you get, and this, we're linking it to Daisy Ridley. We're linking it to, whatever you call it, Ben Affleck. We're linking it to, But Thor, like we're linking it to Thor. Thor, Ben Affleck, Daisy Ridley, all conflated. Because you're looking at Thor, you brought a comedy. You've turned Thor into a comedy.
Disgraceful.
And people are celebrating because it just adds more into this explosive, well, hey, let's all, it's also great, so wonderful. The guy's flying around America, Tokyo, Japan.
Yeah, to qualify this day, that thought is that the thing is, and I'd actually say it like this, when you really analyze it, it is actually less a knowing deterioration of the audience by the studios and these people, as opposed to the how do I say it? The inevitable results of particular things happening when you look at the capitalism and how capitalism has been tied to filmmaking and so forth, so that you have a scenario whereby, like, okay, in the 70s, if you had people who were former actors and producers who were in charge of studios, so even though that they were thinking about the bottom line and making money, they still had a level of artistic integrity where they somewhat still believed that in order to make more money, you had to make good movies that people wanted to see. I think the problem is that you have is it still connects to what I said before, but is when you look at it is that as you've bled the movie business of actual artists running things and putting people who are not actual filmmakers, they don't know anything about making movies really. All they are just regular Tom, Dicks, and Harrys who have economics degrees or business degrees, or people who don't even have either, who just somehow fail upwards. And these people are like, they actually don't know any better. You see what I'm saying? So what they end up doing is that the easiest way to make more money is to do the same thing that made money last time. if you're somebody who's not an artist. If you're just there, you're like, well, you know, this is just business. And if I put 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and I got XYZ last time, if I do the same thing, I'll get the same thing. So it's like, they've literally, it was inevitable that they were going to cultivate an audience that were going to therefore give them the kind of returns that they expect from doing particular things, which is why they now start diverting.
Okay, but talk about to chosen one is like, look at what you have now, which I find weird is that even though they followed into this bizarre, comfortable system of making money and churning out rubbish, you actually have this weird mess you've made. Whereas, like, this is something I told half up and the American says that when in any trailer have you heard the lead character say, "I need help"?
Well, again, I'm not
like what does that mean? I need help. And this is not even going into that her bizarre statements about I need someone to show me my place in all this, which makes no sense. I need help. See, my point is that they themselves don't know what they're doing.
Yeah,
so they're now tripping over themselves.
But yeah, well, see, that's the thing. That's something that I wanted to say in the discussion 2 years ago with The Force Awakens, because I know the Merc went into, I guess, you know, Jedi rules. I think at one point we all thought that only a Jedi could wield a lightsaber. Right? And it's just one of my points was we're sort of all fools for trying to figure this out because they're making up the rules as they go along. When continuity is out of the window, there's no. But
yeah, but the crazy thing is that the continuity is out the window. But the thing I keep coming back to that nobody cares.
Yeah, that's
which is that David Fincher's point, which is the scariest thing. Yeah. It's like you're living in a world of zombies, where if you're a screenwriter, a filmmaker, what you're doing doesn't really matter because you've got an audience that they don't care. Like you've got Ben Affleck, who is completely dead. Listen, let's not get into white privilege, because you know that at the moment Ben Affleck is literally keeping the world in suspense as to if he will stay on as Batman. A whole role as Batman, some idiot who should have never been Batman in the first place, is now dilly-dallying because people didn't
completely trash Batman, by the way.
No, but because people didn't like his Live by Night that came out. He got some issues over that, and now he's like sulking with Batman. Listen, but that's the thing about the world, is that you've got a guy who is rubbish, and nobody cares. You've got this Thor that's a comedy, and nobody cares. You've got Rey, who now, all of a sudden, you need help. Nobody cares. You've got this idiot, Kylo the Wino, who is still smashing his helmet in elevators in the TV spots and acting like some stupid, idiotic, spoiled kid. And nobody cares. The fact that you've got a man who, Kylo Ren, you're meant to be a villain, but you're returning to part 2 having been beaten. It's like you're looking at a movie poster, and you've got a villain behind Daisy Ridley, and he's got a scar on her face. Now, if a kid says, "Oh, Uncle X, oh, Daddy, why has he got a scar on his face?" "Oh, that's the scar that Rey gave him." I mean, how extraordinary. So the question is like, why is he back? What are you coming back to do?
Well, but can I just make a quick point?
Please.
Just to continue, but basically, this is just a very quick point, and I think it's relating to basically what Mech and Pete has been saying. Okay, Pete, okay.
Thank you.
Okay. But basically, my thing is that it's imagery. Like for me, and this is just me being fully true. And again, I don't know how you feel about this chosen one. Because again, I'm not a Star Wars fan, but still watching Force Awakens, I actually was laughing during the final fight because it looked stupid. Now, you can call me sexist, you can call me this, and call me that. I can only speak the truth. Seeing Daisy Ridley swing the lightsaber around and in that fight, it looked stupid and it looked funny. It looks really silly and stupid. And I was actually laughing in the cinema when I was watching it. The last Jedi TV spots, looking at how wielding the lightsaber, for me, it looks... The thing that scares me the most is that why doesn't the world see this? How has
have hope? That's the point I'm just kind of trying to drive to chosen one. That my greatest fear about all these things are all thread together to one little phenomenon is that We live in a world now that nobody cares. You can point, look, in my office, do you know how many arguments I've had and debates with people about, and it actually gets to a point where they go, yeah, everything you're saying is true, but it was a great movie. I'm looking at guys, how can the movie be a great movie if all these things, unless, as David Fincher has said, it's just a bonfire. If that's the case, Thor can be Charlie Chaplin tomorrow. It's like, is Thor going to come out tomorrow in like Ultron and now be serious again? You're a clown now. You now crack jokes. You've had a personality transplant. But tomorrow, the way this world is, he may come out tomorrow and he may be like Marlon Brando. And nobody will care. Oh, cool. Oh, okay, it's a serious one now. Maybe next one will be Donald Duck. It's an extraordinary time we're living in. That's what I'm trying to say. It's an extraordinary time we're living in because I'm like, I come from a time where it's like rules. They're kind of rules to things. Like, you can't, your main villain has to appear to be unbeatable. Those are the rules. Like, your Aragorn doesn't beat Sauron and kick his ass in Fellowship of the Ring. For Sauron to return to get his revenge on Aragorn for beating him up. That doesn't make any sense to me. You can't have a person that holds a saber that cannot do fight choreography properly. That doesn't make any sense to me. It's like, I don't care whether you're a pig, a girl, a baby, a buffoon. You can't have a saber and not know how to do fight choreography properly. That is just unprofessional. But nobody cares. So look, Snoke. You've got Snoke, who, as Half-Up said, this guy's humongous. How can you possibly fight him? Then you see in, and as Half-Up said, if this guy's humongous, how can you fight him? If he's not humongous, we're dealing with some weirdo who's got some serious psychological problems, inferiority complexes, that he needs to project himself at 50 billion times the size to present to other people. And lo and behold, we see in the T-spots, Snoke is a normal sized man. And do you know what I think? I think that these guys, those bunch of knuckleheads are Lucas, or whatever you call it. If Abrams was still around, maybe Abrams meant him to be huge. But Rian Johnson comes in and goes, this just doesn't make any sense. So he makes him, so you've got this idiocy going on. Complete total daftness going on, because I feel that these guys, how can you have a situation, chosen one, where a person points out to J.J. Abrams that how can, this goes to the Merck's point about emasculating everybody, because let's not get into Hobbit, Bilbo, Luke. Let's not get into that. But emasculating everybody around Rey to pump Rey up. How can Han Solo die, and the first person that Leia goes to console is a girl who she's never met before? Absolutely. A person put this point to J.J. Abrams, and do you know what J.J. Abrams said? Oops. Well, not oops, but goes, yeah, I think that's one we missed. We were just kind of more, trying to show Rey as somebody who has a.
Let me just put a nail in. Let me put a nail in this, okay? And this is a dark underbelly. It's a very dark underbelly. So, and this is something that nobody wants to talk about. So you see, the point is, right? When we were growing up, right, it wasn't cool to be a Star Wars guy to girls. It wasn't cool. Like I actually remember this when I was in school, that the guys who actually spent their time reading comics and playing with Star Wars toys, when other guys were listening to Bobby Brown and that sort of thing, you weren't the cool guys. You were geeks who were playing with Star Wars toys, because I was one of those guys. I remember that very clearly, right? So people might say that, oh, you have a chip on your shoulder. I'm like, yeah, I probably do. But I actually remember that because you weren't cool when you did that. And girls didn't, because the girls weren't interested in that stuff, which is fair enough. Now, you see, the point that I'm making and why I'm connecting this is that you will always find anomalies. You will always find girls who are obviously going to like things that they typically wouldn't like, as you're going to find guys who are going to like things that they don't typically like. You're always going to find that. But I think that the proof is in the pudding of what happens when the dust is settled. Force Awakens came out 2 years ago. Where are the fan groups of all these girls who are like, Rey is their person, they've got the fan clubs, They're keeping the Star Wars thing alive. They're doing the thing. Where are they? Like we did for Star Wars, or we did for Matrix. Like, no, seriously, where are they? The people watching Star Wars Force Awakens 15 times. Like,
I mean, how many people are addressed as Rey, though? You know.
Sorry.
How many people are addressed as Rey?
That's too obvious. I'm actually trying to get deeper into it.
No, but that goes to the point I made in this same talk we did like 2 years ago.
Yeah, but you see now, but the point is this, like, the point that I'm making now is that 2 years on, it is taking another Star Wars movie to make these people talk about it again. It's actually requiring them to spend 250, 300 million to make another movie.
Well, that goes to POH's point about it being a bonfire. They're just cold again, so they're going back to the next bonfire.
There you go. No, but you see, and therein lies the problem. So for you to warm yourself up, you're going to take a franchise like Star Wars that actually means something to... Listen, clearly doesn't mean something to everybody. But
no, look, obviously not. Obviously not.
So I'm sitting here, I'm like, no, but that is the reason why I'm disgusted. Because I'm thinking,
no, but Merc, I mean, listen.
You're going to take Star Wars to do this?
No, but listen, when I saw Johnny Boy hold that saber, and I think it was a Merc that said, oh, he's not, or was it Half Hope that said, oh, no, Half Hope said that, oh, he's not a Jedi. And I said, impossible, no way on this planet. Because in my brain, the rule is that you do not touch that bloody thing unless you're a Jedi. How?
Where did you get that rule? That's what.
Chosen one. It's a rule that's usually, you know.
Wait.
That's a standard issue, man. When Han Solo tried to use it, he couldn't even hold it properly.
I said this in the last, whatever you call it, the last top of it. The rules in Star Wars is that Jedi's use these weapons because they're so, look, it's a bloody energy sword. So you could end up killing yourself. The point is that they're able to use it because they can see a bit into the future. So based on how Jedis can see a bit into the future, they're able to fight each other, and that is how they can use sabers. So there's a lot of this stuff in Star Wars folklore that people know. My point is that how do you go and do this, basically? And nobody.
They released a movie where a girl was using force powers and she didn't even understand how she was using it, and she was using them properly.
No, she's well, and she didn't. Look, that's the whole Max Landis thing. Which, you know what Max Landis did was so pioneering, because you can see how when you have Daisy really coming out and saying, "I need help," you know that they all know exactly what they've done. And it takes a guy like Max Landis to say that, because anybody else says it, because he's just a white guy who looks a bit, so that they can't say anything against him. Anybody else comes out and says that, they'll shut you down, they'll say blah, 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 blah. When Max Landis said it, they were like, well, we can see where you're coming from, but and all that rubbish. I mean, I'm like, you know what, whatever. But my point about all this kind of stuff is that it's dead. It's dead. But the thing that, as the man just said, that for me just makes things extraordinary, that I thought that people actually cared about Star Wars. Like, that's why I don't understand. It's like, let's go to Bilbo Baggins Bilbo Luke, in the Hobbit, the beggar, the job seeker's allowance, dole money guy in a cave. That is what Luke has become after all what he did.
No.
After all what he, you know, that everybody knows from playing the games, reading the comics, that Luke went on that same planet, Yavin 4, and he built a Jedi temple.
Yes.
Those are the rules. He became a Jedi master, and he re-energized and he restarted the Jedi Order. Boom, simple. How do you come back in episode crappy 7 and he's some beggar?
It's amazing. Listen, it is astonishing.
And my point is that people just accept this.
They just accept it. It's like
they have to.
You know what? You literally.
That's the sad thing. They have to, just because basically it's basically the thing that just, and this is just the thing that really frustrates me with fandom, which is why I find it very hard to deal with those complete losers, good for nothing idiots at Comic-Con and these so-called fans.
Pigs.
And basically, and my thing is this, and this relates again to same thing with Wonder Woman as well. You are forcing this fantasy by force. This must be a success, even if you know. I mean, everybody knows that Gal Gadot is a trash actress. She can't act.
No, and she is bad.
She is not good. So how is it that Wonder Woman made so much money? How is it that it's a success? How is it that she's now the beacon? She's now the Stakuna house sway as to how Wonder Woman is going to go, when everybody knows that she is a bad actress and she is completely wrong for the role.
Can I just ask about continuity? Why is Luke's hand metal? In The Empire Strikes Back, a 2-bit robot, such was the level of medical care that within one sitting, it puts a bloody hand on him. But somehow, just so that they can show CGI on metal, his flesh has, they now lack, somehow it's rotted away and he now can't have a bloody hand. Now, let me ask some other question about continuity. How, I saw this new, whatever you call it, the new TV spots, where you see the new style AT-AT walkers and the arsenal that the First Order has now is better than what they had 40 years ago.
It is. Wait a minute.
Wait. Let me just go. The ships. Did you see the level of that Star Killer base? The arsenal, the ships, the weapon power, the costumes, the suits. The First Order are now better than they were 40 years ago. There's a line, as I told half open the mic, in the TV spots where Paul Dameron goes, "We are the spark that would light the fire that will finally burn." Excuse me. Luke fell off a bloody cloud city, lost his hand, almost died to destroy Vader and the Emperor. What the hell have you been doing for 40 years? Where you're called the Resistance? That is like the NYPD calling themselves the Resistance against the Crips or whatever, or some ganging or whatever.
Like the LAPD.
Yeah, the LAPD are the Resistance against the Bloods or the Crips. We will stand up and fight against those Bloods and Crips. I mean, how daft is that? You beat them, that story is done. There is now a new republic, and oops, shock horror, JJ, you're going to have to find your story from somewhere else. You're not meant to come and find some way to force and screw and pigeonhole events just so that you can try to replicate.
Basically, maybe no, but for me, I thought that this again, it's the scary. That's just the thing that is just the scariest thing, is that how do you explain that you're again in episode 7, so many years after all you've done, you're still in a bunker and resisting.
Resisting?
That's crazy. That is just crazy.
Yeah, but you see, but that's the point. That's the point I was trying to make with the
that's why
you've set up a movie in Force Awakens that it's already dead.
Because and that is the scary thing about guys like JJ Abrams. You've laid roots and evil seeds, poisonous seeds. You've set it on a track for complete. Like you basically, Kathleen Kennedy, that Bob Iger and his big chest with his big suits and everything. That guy, and between him and Kennedy, they're so obsessed with the mechanics of every cinema is going to show this. We're going to kick out Hateful Eight. You're only going to show whatever. We're going to take 50, 70, 80% of the tickets. You're only going to see this and blah, blah. So to the point where they're like, you're going to literally recreate A New Hope. Let me ask everyone this question. How can Chewie return? And Chewie looks exactly, if not slightly younger than he did 40 years ago. Because you just got to have Chewie. How can Han Solo return? And after all Han Solo did, he's still a smuggler? People going, oh, I'm sure, hey, Solo, we just got to, and he's going, hey, I was going to pay. It is sick. It's completely and totally sick. It's like you've got the situation where it's a dead situation. It's a dead scenario. All because you're so scared of trying anything that you don't know that you're just going to recreate.
No, but the thing is, I know. You see, what's happened here is that, and again, it's connected to everything that you're saying and everything that everybody has been saying, is that you see, people insulted Georgie Porgy. They insulted him. They abused this guy, insulted the guy.
Rightfully so.
Okay, but the man is a genius. Like, he just is. Like, there are things he can't do, aka direct the films. But when it comes to the coming up with like everything to do with this franchise, it's like people don't understand. It's like,
no, but that's what's the point. But
they don't get it.
Let me give you a list. Let me give you a list of everything, because I actually wrote this down. And this just comes down to of what we're going to be dealing with in episode 8, based on Kathleen Kennedy's this deranged concept of we're going to have everything and just do everything. In one thing, you're going to have C-3PO, R2-D2, BB-8, Chewie. Then there's this new Asian girl that's coming in that's going to be another person. And you're going to have these new things called porgs. How many things can you have?
Yeah, but it's because they want to sell toys, don't they? And
there is no, you can find one, but there's no space for BB-8 if you've got R2-D2.
There is an Instagram and Twitter world. We're living in a world where listen, we've got a generation of children who don't have attention spans. You know the last generation, aka Half Hope's generation, where like they had ADD. The current generation, they don't even have an attention span. It's instant. Like, as soon as it's not on the screen anymore, they've already forgotten. It's ridiculous. Listen, either that's true or these companies want it to be true. Because if you make that true, then it is easy to keep selling them things. You see, I actually don't even believe it's true. I think it's a lie that is impressed on people so that you can, it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. You keep saying that this generation has no attention span. Then they start thinking they have no attention span, and then they don't have an attention span. It's like, the truth of the matter is that no human being has no, like, that's not a human instinct. It's not natural to not be able to retain anything. It's not a natural human instinct. So for you to say that all of a sudden we've created a generation of children that have no attention, so you just have to keep pumping them with things and flashing lights and stuff. Listen, did you watch Guardians of the Galaxy 2? That movie was crazy. I was watching this film, like, I actually liked the first one, but even that was a bit on the edge. This movie, I'm like, oh my God, literally, there was something happening every single second of that movie. So my brain couldn't process it. I was like, there is too much going on. There is too much happening. It was, then I looked at the trailer for Fast 8, and then I knew I wasn't going to watch the movie.
Look, you've got Warner Brothers, and our good friend Kevin Fujio, that idiot, the guy in charge of who said that this movie must be a lot shorter than 2 hours. How can you make a Justice League movie?
93 million. 93 million.
And it must be shorter than 2 hours. It's like, basically, for me, I think, as I said, my main thing about all this kind of stuff, about what we got into now, is that my biggest fear is that I cannot predict what's happening, because the actual fans themselves are pretty much mad. They're basically crazy. It's like, you kind of see, like, when I saw Thor, and I was like, guys, your heroes can't have like personality transplants. I mean, surely that's not allowed.
Yeah, but they're doing it like an alternate parallel reality, timeline. Like Ragnarok, I think they don't even, you can almost argue when they come out with Thor 4, for example,
right?
It'll be like like Ragnarok is like its own thing. It's its own thing. So part 4 is going to be almost like a continuation of part 2. Like Ragnarok is like its own thing, so they could get away with anything they wanted to do.
No. Obviously, look, to be honest, you can do whatever you want whenever you want to do it. I'm just saying that, but in terms of like logical, you're going to have
logical, but that's why they did it.
Oh, look, yeah, look, yes, they use time travel to those dimensions. It's just basically that's Hollywood's latest gimmick. That's how they basically soft rebooted the X-Men franchise. All this rubbish, because that's all they're trying to do. You use time and this kind of, then somehow you can reboot and change whatever you want to change. I just think that, personally speaking,
here is what you said. What you said earlier is like, you've got a group of people who are accepting this. Listen, I watched. Did you listen? And I know that all of you guys spotted this. And this is the key. Did you all spot it? I've only watched the Last Jedi trailer twice. There is one particular angle of Rey swinging that lightsaber that I do not know how you edit that into the film. In fact,
that's the first point I told you.
I don't know how you film that. How do you tell the cinematographer to put the camera there? Like what? That shot is a disgraceful shot.
I think, personally speaking, I think it's not a disgraceful shot. I think on that shot, the person that fails in the shot is the person that's swinging the saber.
No, that shot shouldn't be in there. That shot is from like 1994. It's not even an 80s quality shot.
Well, okay, fine. But I mean, I can't argue because I don't know how to process a world where these things are flying. And that's my problem. I can't argue because I don't understand how to.
Look, I think was it Half Hope who said it? It's like why you get nervous is that it's so obviously not good. The fact that people are not saying it's not good and people are trying to argue that it's not bad is scary because they're like, this is obviously not good. So what? Like you're looking at footage and I'm like, how is this fine? Like what? Listen, man, and I didn't even want to get onto this, but I'm just going to throw it out there now because we've been going for an hour. Listen, man, that Finn trailer I saw yesterday.
Oh, we haven't even got onto Finn.
Chosen One. This guy, the first personal trailer, he shouts to Rey, Rey! This guy's been in a coma.
Racist.
Well, that's how he shouted it, and a lot of comments were like, "Whoa, was anyone really freaked out by that first shot?"
Look, it's no, Chosen One. I'm sorry, no, Chosen One. You have to accept that how Finn has been presented. That is frightening.
It's actually no. It's
Capo. It's so. You have picked the perfect word. It's not rude. It's not bad. It's not racist. It's frightening. How?
No. I mean, it is because again, like when you just look at, even looking at the trailer and everything, because again, in my view, let's just be objective here. Me being objective, I'm looking at this and say, what the hell are you? Because you're not a Jedi. You have no force powers. Why the hell do you keep on holding a lightsaber? Because you have a lightsaber against Kyle and you got destroyed. You now have a lightsaber up against that flipping bounty hunter.
That's not a lightsaber. That's their new kind of electricity stick thing.
Yeah, but you know what? Do you know how?
But basically, my whole point is that
why do you have it?
My thing about Finn is that what are you? What is your role? Because in my view, mates, you're just some dude who is just tagging along. Like
no skills. How about Poe? What the hell is that guy doing here? What is he?
He's a pilot.
Yeah, but what? As people have asked, what the hell is that guy? Of what use? How do you create? JJ, how do you create? First of all, you created the Chrome Stormtrooper and Captain Phasma, who did nothing in a whole film. You did nothing, which is bizarre. You've got Paul Dameron, who showed up at the beginning, then didn't show up for the whole film. They showed up at the end, and you're hugging Finn like you're the best friends on planet Earth. People were like, "What is up with that? Like, who is this? What is?" And you know what? Jason Isaac has actually come out and said again that I'm not really in this much. I do kind of pop up here and there. Why is he there? Basically, there's a level of lack of professionalism that Abrams, which is why I said the speed with which JJ jumped back into the director's chair for episode 9, that for me just sealed the deal. I know that this guy knows he screwed up big time, and he knows that the way he screwed up, the vibrations are going to be felt, the ripples will be felt many years to come. That's how badly and he's going to try to somehow redo or whatever. I don't know what the heck he's going to try and do in episode 9. But it's like, man, you've created characters that make no sense, a storyline that makes no sense. All the stuff you've done is just like, it's completely, your level of, your like rules is like, if your level of power is scaring Luke Skywalker, who's meant to be like the craziest Jedi in history, then how powerful is? Then Rey's head should explode.
But see, that's where I was trying to get to, as far as nailing down when this thing really went off the rails, as far as when the rules got murky. Now, you say that Luke Skywalker is supposed to be the greatest Jedi out there, and you are basing that off of because he took down Darth Vader.
Yeah.
Okay. So then who took down?
Okay.
Wait. So then,
Let's qualify that.
Hold on.
Okay,
go ahead.
But, like, technically, Anakin is meant to be the chosen one, but maybe because he got so corrupted by the Force, that's why he was able, and he was like a kind of quarter human. That's why he was able to be taken down.
Okay, but you see how you just reached just there with that explanation?
Yeah.
The same people can reach as far as why Finn's able to use a lightsaber, why Daisy was fighting the way she was in episode 7 with lacking the actual saber technique skills. That's what I'm saying. I think on some level, we are all sort of guilty of that sort of rational.
Okay. And here's my reply to that. You cannot reach with Daisy, because if Daisy is doing incredible things, you see.
Wait a minute.
No. And doing Force things and everything. It is still the responsibility.
That's not what I brought up as an example, though. I already know where you're going, and I agree. That's not what I said.
Okay, fine. So sorry. So you're saying
we're talking about, I guess, not being able to wield a lightsaber. There is actually a rational explanation that people can come up with. Not that I would accept, but it's just as rational as what you just did with the Anakin.
No, because it's part of Jedi, like Star Wars lore, that normal guys don't use the sabers for that reason. So yes, you can pick it up.
No, so
how are you going to use it?
So what you just did with Anakin, I guess him being taken down by Obi-Wan in that volcano. I'm not sure how it goes in the canon universe or the books, but you're saying that's part of Star Wars lore, him being sort of distracted by his lust for power. I'm assuming that's what.
Look, let me tell you this, okay? And this was quite simple. There are some very basic things about telling a story, okay? And the way that stories work is that there are certain expectations you have in particular genres, right? When you have a situation like this, right, where you have a special order of knights who are mythical guys, who have this sort of connection with energy and the spirit of the universe and all this sort of stuff, it's actually very important that you separate them from pretty much everybody else in your project, in your story, in your film, in your TV show. If you then have a scenario where pretty much anybody can use the things that they use, pretty much anybody can learn the tricks and skills. Do you know how big a deal it was?
Yeah, but that's a different kind of argument, which is true. But it's like, fine, okay, but that's like more like about what they should have done.
No, I know. But I'm saying that, listen, that's why I was going into this. I was saying that, listen, if you watched A New Hope, right? If you saw how big a deal it was to use the Jedi mind trick, the Jedi mind trick became a saying that people had in life because it was a thing that, it was a skill that you had to, listen, Obi-Wan did so.
Oh, that's a good point. And let me even add what you said about A New Hope to chosen one's thing.
Yeah, I know, but hold on. Let me just finish the point.
Okay, right.
Basically, Obi-Wan did things in A New Hope that got them out of sticky situations that blew your mind because you were like, oh my God, if Jedis can do this, can you imagine the things they could do? So Luke was like, oh my goodness. He thought I was going to get caught. This guy just used a mind thing, and then the guy didn't even remember who they were. He went in there, he used a lightsaber, cut that guy's hand off. It was like, he was doing things, you're like, what the hell is good? And then, this is the craziest part, right? You then get to part 2, where Luke now goes to train, and he's crap. It takes him the entire film to get to the point that he can only use a lightsaber.
Can I please beg Chosen One, please beg Chosen One to pay close attention to this, because Chosen One, and I don't hold anything against. In fact, I respect you for it. You tend to play devil's advocate, which is a good way of actually getting a more open and balanced debate, which is good. But with this saber thing, when you say well, you're kind of reaching and you could have a logical explanation why Finn, whatever you call it, the Mech has gone, well, you ought not to be doing this, which is another argument. But I'm saying my point is going to be like within the laws you've established in the expanded universe, it's not allowed. But let's even contract it to what we have all seen on screen. Do you think it is logical? Now, Chosen One, do you think it is logical for Finn to be able to pick up and use a saber when these are the words, and I quote from A New Hope, excuse me, hello, your father's lightsaber. This is the weapon of a Jedi Knight, not as clumsy or random as a blaster, an elegant weapon for a more civilized age. Those are Obi-Wan's words.
I know them. I know those words well. The answer is yes.
This is the weapon of a Jedi Knight.
Okay, but Michael. Okay, so your issue is Finn being able to use the saber. That's your question, right?
You know what my issue is?
Wait. Let him finish. Go ahead.
There are two things. First of all, it's insulting that he picked it up, being the character that he is. Given the fact that he picked it up, he actually sustained a fight with Kylo Ren for about a couple of minutes or so.
That part, yes, I agree. That should not have happened. That match should have been over in 0.
Now, and that's my point. When you have a classic quotation from Obi-Wan as that, from when I was a kid, it is in your subconscious that this is the weapon of a Jedi Knight.
Okay,
it is not as clumsy as a blaster.
Wait. Very simply, wait.
Chosen one, just for the record, do you get my point?
Not really. I don't, because it's one of those things where it's like it's in. Okay, just correct me if I'm wrong. It sounds like what you're saying is no one should touch it unless they're a Jedi.
No. Listen, Chosen One. I'll say it like this. Okay.
I don't.
This is the reason why I said.
This is samurai. Chosen One. How many people use a samurai sword that's not samurai?
No, but this is the reason why I said that this. That's
what I don't qualify.
This is the reason why I said that the fans have a problem.
Why can't you let Meg? Can I just finish this? So this just clarify this thing with Chosen One. So then we
asked him and he answered.
No, but he said Meg that said that because he was sorry. Chosen One. What was your reply?
No, it's just that going off of what Hope said, and he's asking me how many people use a samurai sword. That's what I'm saying. I don't qualify what Rey did in the beginning anyway. Forget about that last fight scene. As far as them picking up the saber, swinging it wildly, lacking the choreography and the skill to use it. I don't consider that using. You're just swinging it. I don't know. I think this is a.
Yeah, but you see now, this is where I was going to respond to what you were saying. My problem with this, and I think the thing that I was shocked with some of the fans, the so-called Star Wars fans, is when you're an actual Star Wars fan, and I don't even like the word fan, forget it. When you're a Star Wars person, right, you're a Star Wars guy, and you grew up with this stuff, and the way that George Lucas established what a lightsaber was, and he was very careful with how it was used, which is the reason why he's not a fool. You might argue with him, but look at how many times anybody else touched their lightsaber in the first trilogy. It only happened twice, one time, And I'm getting to the point here. See, this is the thing, right? You're making a film that is a microcosm of a fantasy world that has all of these laws and all these things. You're making a film that is supposed to give you a window into something, right? And in order to do that, everything gets extremely magnified. So when you make particular decisions, each of those decisions is not a throwaway. Of course, you could justify anything. Anybody could pick a lightsaber is a physical object. Anybody could pick it up. So you can justify that easily. We're trying to make a point of the reason why Star Wars worked so well in the original trilogy is that every decision that was made galvanized particular thoughts that you had in your head when you were watching it about who the villains were, how they were such big time guys, the reasons why people were afraid of them, what they were using, how they were using it. So this lightsaber weapon this thing that Darth Vader uses, that Obi-Wan uses, the only two guys in those films that actually knew how to use these things properly. Then they're training this other guy who's the hero, and it took him 2 films before he could use this thing. The only other person who touched it was Han Solo, who was trying to save Luke Skywalker's life, and he could barely even hold the thing properly to cut that, to cut him down, whatever, that beast. So the Thompson rather. So you're looking at this, and I'm like, okay, so now you get into this new trilogy, Force Awakens. And in a matter of moments of reintroducing you to this world, first of all, this is compounded by all the things that you've already seen happen. A new order which is stronger than the Empire that they're supposed to have destroyed. You've got these people are still rebels. You've got Rey who's running around doing all this. Then you see the lightsaber for the first time, which is like, do you know how big it is? Like you're bringing this weapon back, and you're saying, and then this guy just picks it up and starts fighting. I'm trying to tell you that, listen, from my point of view, that was a disgraceful decision.
No, I mean,
that's a disgraceful decision.
It's like if the quotation in the film is "This is the weapon of a Jedi Knight," let's talk logic. It demeans the Jedi Knights if non-Jedi Knights use the weapon. For me, that's just logic. Now, children, of course they can pick it up. They can do whatever they want to do with it. But if you say this is a samurai sword or something that's and in your thing, or this is a bubbler though, and this is the ancient weapon of these people, and it's for the blah blah blah, and then you let other people use it, automatically you are removing from the
but when you say
of the weapon, that's just logic.
When you say other people, you are referring to Finn.
No, basically no, non-Jedi Knights.
Anybody else?
Okay, here's my question. How do you know he's not a Jedi?
Oh
my God.
No. Okay, so now, no, seriously, answer the question. How do you know?
He is not a Jedi.
How do you know?
He's not.
Okay.
How do you know?
You know what you're talking about? Does he have...
If he's a Jedi, it has to be one of the dumbest stories ever for a Jedi.
Wait a minute.
Chosen one. No,
what I mean, are you doing devil's advocate?
You're making a mistake here.
Wait, hold on. We all agree that they're making up the rules as they go along, but yet we're going crazy when I ask that question. I don't get that. At the beginning of episode 7, was Rey a Jedi?
Oh my goodness, this is what I'm trying to explain to you. That's the problem. This is the thing. Look at the way that it works. Luke Skywalker had potential. He had the potential to be a Jedi.
Yeah.
Obi-Wan knew that. And he also knew that Anakin had the potential to be a Jedi. And he took these people and he went and trained them. Now, in the beginning, you're not a Jedi till you become a Jedi. Yes. You're not just a Jedi by right.
Okay, now let me answer.
Okay, but you didn't. Wait. But you didn't have a problem with Luke Skywalker using that lightsaber before he became a Jedi, right?
Wait, no. Luke Skywalker used it under the tutelage of a Jedi. What are you talking about?
Chosen one.
No, that's okay. But you're telling me something. That wasn't my question, though. But no,
the question is that, of course, listen. A Jedi comes to train you. And then he gives you a weapon, and under his guidance, you're using the weapon. That is a very different thing from you just see it there and you just pick it up and you start using it and fighting.
Well, let me answer Chosen One's question that maybe he's a Jedi as they're going along. Because we always have this kind of thing, well, they can always say he's this. They can always say Rey.
Is that not true?
It's no, wait, let me just. They can say Rey is the goddess from Earth, and that's why she could do everything. My point is where they still can't get off, they can't wriggle out of it that way for one simple reason. As a storyteller, and respecting the quotation I quoted from Obi-Wan Kenobi in episode 4, if Finn picks up that saber, it is your responsibility to let somebody in that film go, how did you use that weapon? Because the fans should question that, how dare he pick that weapon up?
That's the part of it that got
you can't just do it you can't just do this, then we see the credits. You can't just let Rey do all this sort of stuff and then we see the credits. And then in part 4 they say, oh, all along she was actually Anakin's mother who was reincarnated.
I agree.
What kind of rubbish is that? It makes no sense. It's like, that is why, that is what actually, it's almost like a regulator for storytellers, which means that you can't just do whatever you feel like doing.
Okay, so I guess my question then now is, if with more of an explanation, you all would be okay with?
Of course, yes, yes.
Okay, all right. That's the only point I was trying to make.
Because to me, it's like, if a guy's going to pick up a saber, explain it. If Rey is a goddess, explain it. But the fact that you haven't explained it proves that you weren't even thinking about that.
They were not, no.
You know, and so that there's a two-pronged. One thing is that you weren't thinking about it as storytellers, and the other side of it is that the fans didn't question it. So for me, I think from those two angles, you've got a dire situation where you're like, it's over, and we're in some crazy valley of nonsensical jibe.
All right, look, last 15. Let's just break down this trailer, this particular film, of all the points that we've not talked about, because we've talked a lot about the overall.
I mean, have we talked about Justice League?
No, Finn's coonery. We haven't really hit home on that one.
I mean, let's just go points by points. Okay, look, the first point, okay, is obviously Snoke.
No, Smoke. His name is Smoke.
I'm surprised that he's small, because I thought it would be too obvious, but it also was a bit. Listen, when you saw the way he was shown in Force Awakens,
PlayStation 3.
those graphics were not. Those were PlayStation 3 quality graphics. But
FMV.
When they showed him that huge, you knew he couldn't be that big. And you know what's funny? If he was that big, that would have actually been a very original thing.
No.
How do you fight?
How would you fight it?
That's what
I don't know how original. I don't know whether it's original or just plain stupid. If
the third thing, which is like, it's horrific. So I'm sorry, you can't do that. And another thing I'm stoked is that Andy Serkis, who basically just he recreates his own rules because he wants to always sell motion capture. He goes, oh, I'm doing this new character for The Force Awakens, and it's completely CG motion capture. And when you kind of see where they've gone, that can never be captured with them prosthetics. And you look at, as somebody said on YouTube, when they actually saw Snoke in this new Force Awakens, Last Jedi thing, they're like, you're telling me that. You see, and this is what I get about Hollywood.
It's like, why?
That can't be done with prosthetics. Same as the Hobbit, like the albino orc guy. That can't be done with See, that's why movies are costing 300 billion. That's why your movies cost 300 billion. Why is Snoke CG?
That doesn't even make sense, man. Why the hell is that guy CGI?
And that's a bunch of millions there. A bunch of millions. Why? Just like you can have Andy Serkis in there, you can say you've got a model there, and all this computer total rubbish. Look, okay, next guy I think we should talk about is Kylo.
Whiny Kyle.
Yeah, but even when you watch the trailer, you already see how they've wrecked the character already, because from part one we know he's a loser. So it's like everything you see in this trailer is like, oh, shut up, man. Ray is going to come and wipe the floor with you again. Like, so it's like, come on, man. Like, listen, my God, when she wasn't trained then. Now she is going to cut his head off.
She could have killed him in part one.
Like,
she wasn't. In the actual script, it said she was literally an inch away from killing him.
It is. Listen, man. You know what? I'm nervous because how the hell can you fight Rey when she's trained?
Like, look, did you see how red Luke's eyes were when he said he was scared? Did you see how red his eyes were?
Listen, we're all laughing, and let us now play in their sandbox. Let's play in the sandbox they've created. For real, guys, I'm going to ask this question. Who the hell is going to fight Rey when she's trained? No, let's play in their sandbox.
Sauron.
The strongest. Listen, Sauron is the only person that can fight her.
No, but I think it's basically Hal versus Snoke. because Snoke is the only person who they can say, okay, maybe, and look,
and you know the trick about
Snoke. Can I just say something? You know that Snoke is going to be Darth Plagueis because it's J.J. Abrams and he's that pathetic. I know it's going to use some twisted rubbish that said that when Palpatine thought he'd killed him, but really he just tumbled down the well and he came back and some rubbish because Abrams is an idiot. But look, maybe I'm wrong, but that's one of my theories. I mean that basically they can get away with Snoke because for the simple reason that they haven't yet told us how powerful he is. So because they make it up as they go along, as Chosun said, they say, oh, but yeah, she's really powerful, but the only one who can really keep her in check is really, I know this stupid rubbish.
No, but that's what I was even going to say. That is the dumbest. It's like, do you know how strong this guy should be so strong then that what's the point of Kylo?
His head should explode. That's probably why he's got such a big head. In fact, that's probably what happened, why he's scared. Maybe his head did explode.
Wait a minute. Did you say that why he's Skyping?
Sorry?
I thought you said that he's Skyping because his head exploded.
No, I said that's probably why he's got scars on his head. That maybe when he was younger, his head did explode. And they put it back together.
Look, man, I mean, listen. You know, it sounds so childish because it's so simple. But the simplicity of it is why.
Where does Smoke's head go at his slants? That's why I don't understand. Like, why does he look like that? Like,
yeah, but that's why I said that it's so silly what they've done.
Oh, sorry, can I just add that? Has anyone seen the size of Scrumpy Jack's head? Ryan Applehead Johnson. I'm sorry, I've never seen a guy with a head that round before.
Oh God.
Yeah, but you know what? And you know, it sounds so childish, but it's true. Is that you know that the film can't walk.
With a guy with a director whose head is that round.
and also the thing is like he's always like smirking and always smiling. So it's like a character.
Wouldn't you smirk if they just gave you your own trilogy and episode 8?
True.
They gave you episode 8 and then they gave you your own trilogy of stuff.
Nah, it's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. Listen, that's mind bending.
Which okay, another quick point. So basically, this new Star Wars trilogy starring a female. The Star Wars spin-off starring a female.
Is it
Star Wars Battlefront 2 starring basically this is
who told you that?
That's what?
Who told you that?
Star Wars Battlefront.
Which trilogy? Oh, you're talking about this new trilogy.
No. This trilogy is currently here.
Oh, right. I thought you said Ryan Johnson's trilogy.
Oh, no, look.
Oh, please.
Are you telling me that his new trilogy is not going to be starring a woman?
That guy's trilogy. I mean, come on. Please. In fact, so probably have.
You know why I say that Hollywood is so childish? It's like you people are like you're just playing everybody.
No, basically, the point I'm trying to make is that this isn't equality. Equality isn't where you have 3 different Star Wars projects and they're all starring a female and a white female. The key thing, a white female. That's not equality.
Equality is like you go and create things organically. It's like how can you be taking like literally everything and just switch it around and you make it look? It's so. Listen, I was on the plane and I watched parts of Wonder Woman, and I was like, so this is what these guys have been talking about. Like, I was watching this movie, I'm like, this is just.
Kal-El, like, no, Kal-El.
It's basically, what do they call it? Captain America.
What Frank Miller needs to do is he needs to make a new movie called Furiosa, put all his amazing talent into it, and it is starring Charlize Theron. That's what he needs to do.
Wait. You mean George Miller, not Frank Miller? George Miller.
Sorry, George Miller. That's what he needs to do.
I already said that if Mad Max were just called Furiosa, it's good, it's fine. Like, you should just...
No. Please do it and see how much money it makes. Go for it. In fact, okay, listen. Fury Road came out and it was so good, everybody loved it, which is obviously why people still talk about it now, obviously. Make part 2 based on this fantastic success of part 1 and call it Furiosa and see how much money it makes.
No, it will make money.
Look, you know what I said? It's just one of my theories. Please do it.
I mean, I think that would be.
Actually, to be honest, you're right, because within the world of Wonder Woman, actually.
No, Wonder Woman is the one that is the one that I'm like.
Sorry, it would make billions.
That movie, that's going to run out of steam because that was just a few, hysteria and everything.
No. Trust me, Wonder Woman 2 is still going to make cash, especially with this sexual harassment things. The landscape has changed because by force, Wonder Woman must be a success.
Yeah, but it's the point I was trying to make. Oh man, listen, what point did I make about Force Awakens? Once girls en masse are not Star Wars people. So once the hysteria of and the novelty of having a female Jedi wears off, you're not going to be getting these guys coming to the cinema. They're not going to watch that movie like
1.5 billion. 1.5 billion. I've said it for episode 8.
Yeah. That's one of the points I'm making. I'm talking about like as a whole, when you're trying to sustain things like this, is like, okay, like once that stuff all wears off, they're going to have to find some other franchise because look, you've had the first one. You're now going to get this one. This one for sure. I mean, look, man, you're saying what? Look, man, we'll see what happens.
How do you mean?
I said with this Last Jedi thing, because to be honest, I'm maybe because I'm not surrounded by enough Star Wars people anymore. Because and also, you know what? There's no IMDb boards, so that was where you could check the temperature of a lot of things.
Doesn't matter. 1.5 billion is done because it can make 800 million in the first day. The second people have seen this film, by the time you get to the second weekend, it's done. There's nothing in it. There's nothing in it. I tell you that the supernova was Force Awakens. All the nostalgia, finally we're going to get a real movie.
Well, that's what I said.
So it's finished. 1.5 billion.
But you think that it's still going to make 1.5.
1.5, and then it's going to be less for the last one because it's done.
What was the first one make?
2 billion something, 2.2 or something.
But that's expected. They were bringing the trilogy back, Han Solo and Leia and Luke. That was going to happen regardless.
I don't think it's even going to be up to 1.5. You know.
I mean, it could definitely be a bill. That's.
Oh no, of course, 100%.
If it doesn't make 8 billion, Bob Iger will kill himself.
Justice League made 93.
There is nothing in this Last Jedi, man. There is just nothing in it. So it's like
there's nothing in it to go back to. See, Force Awakens could always ride the nostalgia. The way that he did, and this is the sweet thing about George Lucas. Every movie he's ever made, there's something that he will do in
that. You always put something in there, man. Like
go back to watch at least one more time.
At least twice.
There is nothing. Force Awakens, you can't watch that movie twice, and people actually say it online. Now I'm looking at this and like, you know that in the whole of this race, I haven't seen one saber fight. I haven't seen one saber fight in any TV sport.
You haven't seen one saber fight in a movie called The Last Jedi.
It's extraordinary. Extraordinary.
Called The Last Jedi.
If she fights, who's she gonna fight? Who's she gonna fight?
Strong.
You talked about the Knights of Ren. As of now, we still haven't seen them apart from the bloody flash. I mean,
the Knights of Ren. She beat the main guy. She beat the Knights of Ren. She trashed the leader.
She trashed the main guy. So basically, all the rules are screwed. That's chosen what I said. Basically, you're in this situation where it's like you've got your TV spots, and it's a Star Wars movie, and because your lead, first of all, is too powerful, and secondly, she can't fight. You haven't shown. Look, if you watch that fight between her and Kylo in the snow, because people like to not rerun that fight, it was shocking.
It was rubbish.
This girl was literally just swinging that thing like she's trying to swat flies.
It was embarrassing. I told you, I was laughing in the cinema. It was one of the most embarrassing things. We say, apart from Dark Knight Rises, it's the second most embarrassing I've felt in the cinema.
It's another dark thing as well. And it's where I say, man, these people, you're almost opening yourself up to your own ridiculous prejudice. I watched bootleg of Rogue One, right? So I didn't even see it clearly. So I saw it on bootleg. So I think it would probably be better if I saw it clearer to see what was going on.
I don't know about that.
Well, listen, when you saw Donnie Yen, and I'm looking at this and I'm thinking to myself that, what is wrong with you people? Like, you're willfully denying yourselves good quality because you can't handle the idea of an Asian leading Jedi. I'm looking at this guy, I'm like, this thing just looks on a whole, it's actually a disgrace for me to even compare what he was doing to anything anybody else did with a lightsaber. And he didn't even have a lightsaber.
It is a disgrace because it's insulting. But it's one of those things where it's like, I say, look, this new Asian girl that they've got, this is the first main Asian lead you've had in a mainstream Star Wars film in history.
And is she even a Jedi?
No, she just
like a sideshow.
Just a sideshow. But it's basically, for me, to the Asian community, it's such an insult that.
But let's be real. If they allow, imagine if they allowed like Seraph or Donnie Chen.
You're not allowed. Look, I had this conversation in the place I was in.
Because America said that they know that's why they don't do it.
Oh no, exactly. They can never give them a lightsaber. Never.
There was a guy in my course, right, who is Chinese, and I was talking to him about Donnie Yen, and he was just saying that, yeah, you know, look, man, guys don't even know about some of the movies that Donnie Yen has done that people haven't even seen here, that are better than all the stuff that Western people have seen, that are the films that's in China that have never come out in the West. And I was like, yeah, because we probably haven't even seen them. But the point that we're making, I was like, no, he was talking about not Donnie Yen, about Jet Li. And I was saying that, you know what? Because I asked him that, have you seen Star Wars? He was like, no, I didn't really watch it. And I said, you know, Donnie Yen is in that movie. And I was basically explaining to him, I said, that, don't you think it's insulting that a guy of that stature, side character in a film that has a take on samurais and martial arts in the movie? And I was like, oh, well, you know, whatever. And then I said, look, do you know what the problem is? And it's what Prof. Nahum was saying.
Sir William, okay.
It's not a mistake. You do not dare let a movie come out with Donnie Yen as a lead Jedi in that movie. Because people, you see what I said about the fan base? The fan base just wants quality. It's people who want to be able to control quality so they can make money, that do not want to just give you what is like. Because if they just put that out there, then the next movie, they have to find somebody who's actually good as well. And then keep finding people who are actually talented and good. And that's harder to do than just I call it the Justin Timberlake phenomenon. Timberlake can't do anything. But he's a creatable star. He's not Michael Jackson. He's not Chris Brown. He's somebody that you can create. So therefore, you always want a guy like Justin Timberlake to be the main guy. Because when he's done, you can make another one. You can't just make Chris Brown. And Chris Brown is not even Michael Jackson. But Chris Brown is like Bobby Brown. It's like Bobby Brown was actually talented. So it's like, you don't just create guys like this. Like, they just happen. And then you can't figure out how to deal with them and how to use them or whatever. The problem with the Donnie Yen movie is, like, if you let a guy like Donnie Yen or Jet Li be the lead character in a Star Wars movie, you are finished. Because then you can't have Rey, you can't have anybody else like that come through. Because everybody be like, how are you going to have a guy like Donnie Yen and then you're going to give us Rey?
I'll tell you something that I was having this discussion with someone else today about Finn. I think Boyega's problem is because one of the biggest things that they do with Boyega.
Finn what?
No, about Finn, about Boyega and Rey, about Rey, is that, but they've they've done everything they can to emasculate the guy, obviously, with Rey. But I just have always personally felt that there is more that he could do with the rubbish they've given him, I feel, to at least tread water, because he's sinking so badly. Like, just watching him screaming Rey in this last TV spot, I'm like, I just think that, man, you know what? Even if you go to shout Rey, do you need to shout it like that?
It's bad, man. I mean, it's like bad.
Rey.
I mean, you know what? Think about it. how can your entire TV spot be about another character? Like,
that's weird. It's like, surely Finn's TV should show him who he
like, so your entire existence in this project is about Rey?
Yes, it is.
Like,
you know that somebody actually puts as a line that, man, hey man, you know, look, come on, Finn obviously loves her, man. I mean, come on, I mean, it's the first thing. Because it's such a bizarre thing. That's like,
listen, he was in a coma. The
first thing you.
Do you actually know how deranged you have to be? Because somebody has already friend zoned you by kissing you on the head. They've already told you that, look, this isn't good. It's not good. This is not going to work. So you're in a coma all the time. Your first thing isn't like, whoa, I'm awake. The very first thought is Rey, somebody who just told you that, mate, you're in the friend zone.
You know what the scariest thing is? That, listen, even in the trailer, does Rey look like she's even thinking about this human?
Rey could not give a toss. What happened?
Basically, if they told Rey, oh, Rey, do you know that Finn is out of the coma? She's like, wait, who?
No, as far as she's concerned, they've sent it to A&E. When he gets out, she'll meet him at Piccadilly Circus or whatever I call it, the train station. She's done with the guy.
Basically, when they ask her that's Rey, Finn is out of the coma, she'll be like, wait, who is that again?
No, remember that.
No, that's actually rude. She'll be like, oh.
Oh, really? That guy that always had his head split open. Oh, yes.
This is a joke.
It's a joke. It is an absolute joke. And the thing is, like, you know, guys, you can't have a character like that. Like, that's just silly. It's irresponsible. You can't have a character like that. Because you're watching a character like, what's the point of this guy being here? What's the point? And you know what the thing about Poe Dameron is? Poe Dameron is like the cool pilot persona of Luke that they just took out of the Luke character and put into an actual person. And that's all he is. He's literally Luke in like this, the last third of A New Hope. And that's all the guy is.
It's weird.
It's strange. It's like Poe Dameron is basically Luke from the last third of A New Hope. And that's all he does.
I don't actually know what's his character. I don't really know what his character is.
I hope I just told you what his character is.
Like, let's see. You have a Latino character and a black character, and they're completely dud. So what's the point of them being there?
They also have a black woman in the franchise.
Oh, who's CGI?
Yep.
but you see, they're very clever. But on the cast, it reads, Lupita Nyong'o, John Boyega, so on your roster, it reads like, what's a multicultural cast? When I watch it, all I see is Rey.
All you see is Rey. It's just so ridiculous. You have a multicultural cast where the multiculture and nothing. Like, these people, their only function is to make Rey incredible. Like, it's like, that is all they're there for. These characters, who gives it? Listen, what is Poe Dameron's purpose in this project? What is Finn's purpose in this project? When you watched A New Hope and you saw Han Solo had a categorical story. He had a thing he was doing. Even C-3PO had a story.
Oh, and can I make an explosive point? An explosive point that I completely forgot to read this whole thing. All these guys talk about sexism. I want to put this on record now that I think that the biggest crimes of sexism committed in this Star Wars franchise has been done by Kathleen Kennedy, by Bob Iger, by J.J. Abrams against Princess Leia. Because the characterization of Princess Leia is the most insulting and disgusting characterization.
Yeah, but they messed her up, though. They messed her up.
No, I don't know by any because all this sex and stuff is all rubbish. It's all about a pretty little white girl because she's an older woman. This is Princess Leia. This trilogy should be about Princess Leia.
Yeah,
about her kids.
That's true.
That's what
she should be the central. Basically, it shouldn't be about Obi-Wan. It shouldn't basically. Why was the focus on Han Solo in Force Awakens? Who
because of the whole point. I've had to talk to so many people. The obvious thing is that you've got a situation where it's episode 7. It's 40 years later. Han Solo is a drifter. It didn't work out. The guy is out somewhere else, and they got separated. They've got kids. They've got marital issues. Not marital issues. They've got issue with the kids. They got one guy who's crazy. They got another dog. So whatever you got, but that's the obvious, and it is all about, because people keep forgetting. The word in Empire is no. There is another. Leia also has the Force. How can somebody who is Luke's twin, who has the Force, just be some general? Basically, they give her some little title and just chuck her somewhere.
And you know what? Do you know what's scary? As you're talking now, I'm thinking about it. You know what? That's a good point, because imagine if Leia was a Jedi, like she trained in these years. So when you come back now, she's the person who, because then it's like, if you want to talk about real feminism, it's like that story would actually really work. Like that would have actually been an unexpected and welcomed twist on the story if you came back 40 years later. And first of all, they would have had to clean up this whole stupid story about the New Order or whatever. Like, that's ridiculous. These people, it should have been, she succeeded in bringing everybody back. Luke did his own thing. She also doing her own thing. That you have
because I would have said that was based on who she is, and but I would think that I would personally say that was a bit of a stretch. I would have said that, listen, everybody knows from the stories that even for Jedi Academy, Luke did it. He's a big dog. Luke is like a demigod. Simple. There's no debate. That's what it is in the computer games. Everything. That's it. Then Leia, also in the Force, is within the Force in her own capacity, either as a spiritual leader, in a temple, tuition, that kind of thing. Her own use of the Force is different to a Jedi's use of the Force. Like, you don't have to be a Jedi with the Force. But things that her own presence in the Force has to be extreme and fundamental. And it is in her own attempts to try to guide her conflicted. They said they have twins, one girl, one boy. There's conflicts there, and that's kind of what your story revolves around. You know, it's like, for me, it's like, but the key is that it's Leia. It's all about Princess Leia. How can you bring Leia back and she sat in some bunker, just call her General Leia, and people spend all the time insulting what she looks like now? Look, man, I said, these guys, they're all just yapping about all this stuff because it's all rubbish. It's all smoke and mirrors. It's about pretty little white girls.
I mean, that's look, that's the bottom line. I mean, and I think we'll have a hard time accepting. It's a hard pill to swallow, because that is the truth about what this is about. And when you look at the way it's been done, and you look at, like, for example, like the Princess Leia thing, it's like, it's so obvious. It's like, no, it's not about femininity. It's like, if it was, she's obviously supposed to be the person who's the central character in this thing, because of the way the last trilogy ended. Look at how it ended.
And it is that line that goes, there is another. So don't think it's all about just Luke. That's how they set it up.
Look at how it ended. I mean, it is unbelievable, because you're thinking about it, like, they've set up a situation where you think that clearly,
my father has it, I have it, my sister. Amazing acting. In fact, I should have gone on academy. I would have said that for years. Anyway. But.
And you know what? So it's so strange. It's so strange, because when you see that, you're like, oh my God, these people literally are pulling a fast one. They had an idea and an ideal of what they wanted to push out there. And Daisy Ridley is the face of that thing. And that's what they're doing.
And for that reason, it's all coming down. Like Titanic.
It's all going to go down, because, like, the Titanic already hit the iceberg with Force Awakens. So it's sinking. It's already sinking. So you know what's happening now? You know when the band kept playing as the Titanic went down?
Basically, yeah.
That's what's happening. Everybody's dancing, everybody's waltzing, but the Titanic is sinking. And sooner or later, and when this thing is sunk, you will listen. The death of Star Wars is the death of everything. When this thing goes, it's going to take all these comic book films with it. It's going to take all of these big, huge blockbusters with it.
I don't know about that, man.
Look at what's happening already. Justice League is making under 100.
No. But what about Marvel? When Avengers come, basically, once that Avengers trailer comes, it may go through $1 billion.
Can I tell you, Peter? I've seen the trailer. I've seen the bootleg for Infinity War. Okay, and it ain't good. Okay,
there you go.
But you guys it won't make $1 billion when it comes out.
You have Russos who made a fantastic, lean, tight, fast movie. You can't ask them to start doing cosmics. See, it's that business model of that cheap thing. Like, you know what? We get somebody cheap, they can do everything. Let's just not bother having to deal with guys of any talent. That idea, that psychology. What are the Russos doing, making an Infinity War?
But also, no, you see, this is the problem. And the thing is that you guys actually like Marvel stuff more than I do, because I've always felt like these films, they're not very good. Like, they're not really even real. They're not movies. They're just amusement park rides. Which is why I'm saying people are slowly getting numb to it. They're getting numb to it. And it's going to go because they're just amusement park rides. And very soon people will be bored.
But the point I've always made about Marvel movies is that the thing I would say about Marvel movies are not bad. Marvel movies for me have always been good TV movies. And the reason for Marvel's success is exactly that. They're not bad. And it needs what Marvel would need somebody to come out that's actually good to let other people know how not so great they are. Because they're not bad films. You can't call them bad films. They're not. They
are to me, man. They are to me. I mean, when I watch these things and I'm like, man, this is a bad movie. This is rubbish. You know, and I'm watching this film like, listen, there's bad and there's bad. You see, these DC those are bad.
Those are bad.
Those are bad. Like, those are bad in a way that you're like, you know, those are bad. And when I say bad, is, you know, when you say a film is a bad film, it's like this, you know, this is structure. This is not a good movie. You watch it, you come out, you're like, but it's not a good film. And I'd rather spend my time doing something else, which is the reason why I don't go anymore. Because like, it got to the point, I'm like, I'd rather spend my time doing something else than watch these Marvel films.
Look, I haven't seen Ragnarok. How amazing. How amazing.
I didn't even finish Luke Cage. I didn't even finish that. I didn't finish Daredevil season 2.
Amazing. And look, for them to achieve that for me is fantastic. Absolutely fantastic.
So, I mean, listen, Justice League is out. I feel nothing. I haven't seen it. I have no interest. Justice League. Superman and Batman and Flash and people. Justice League film. So come on. I mean, look. So which is why I'm saying, like, look, the whole Star Wars thing and all these other movies, I feel the end has already happened. Like, people say, oh, it's not good. I'm like, no, the end is already, it's now just a question of how long it's going to take for it to finish and sink. Because nobody cares. And they have to keep spending ridiculous amounts of money just to keep people even remotely engaged. Because people are watching things on their phones, people are watching things on their laptops, people are watching things on their iPads. They can't be bothered to. And they'll watch TV shows as easily as they'll watch any of this stuff. And you know what's going to start happening? People are going to start making their own stuff cheaply. That will be better than this stuff. So people,
you know what Paramount are now doing? I think you probably could have actually already heard about this. Paramount now want to link with virtual reality, and because they say, okay, ticket sales are going down, and they want to create this situation where you put a VR helmet on your head in your room, in your house, a bit like Sony Home, that thing where you walk into the cinema, but it's a virtual reality. I'm like, how deranged and daft is that?
That's insane.
Look, it's desperation, man.
And you think that's going to save? Look, man. As I said, listen, this next decade, because we're coming to the end of the Marvel decade. This is where Marvel ruled. This was Marvel's decade, and will be known as the, you know, this. What the future holds for the entertainment industry.
Whoa.
What was that?
Siren.
Maybe that's Disney.
they had the feed. Look, the truth of the matter is that it's over. What is that?
Well,
The hell? What is that noise? I think it's Chosen One.
what? It's not me.
It's not me.
That'll be me.
Okay, look.
I'm away. I'm away.
I'm away.
Oh.
That actually looked like she was the one saying it.
That's so stupid. I'm not going at this. Oh man, listen. It was like I can insult that person all day long. I mean, there's no point. There just isn't any point.
I'm a Jedi. What's my place in the world?
Oh, Luke Skywalker? Is it real? What Jedi?
So are you Luke? Oh really? Oh sure.
Oh my god, it's real. Luke Skywalker, the Fourth. Yes, it's real.
Oh my god, I can't do this. I'm away. Where's Finn?
Somebody who thought it was all a fantasy, by the end of the movie, she's using force mind trick. She's using force powers. She's freeing herself. Where only 2 days, about 3 days ago, because this movie took place within about, let's say, max a week. A week ago, you didn't think this stuff was real.
Look, you know what's funny? This is the thing that blows my mind about it. She freed herself on a Star Killer base.
Amazing.
That's staggering.
They better reveal in part 8 that girl is a bloody god. Okay?
I mean, it's something else. Which is why, look, as you watch this Last Jedi trailer, I'm like, look, they've boxed themselves in. So you're now having situations where the lead character is having to tell you how she's struggling. He has to tell you that she's struggling. Luke Skywalker is telling her that this is not going to go the way you think. I'm like, look, you're spending a lot of energy and time trying to justify why this journey is hard. We should just see it and it should be hard.
But
you're telling us how hard it is.
Telling us how difficult it is now.
That's what they've got to do, because you've established a situation where she's just too capable. So it's like you have to keep telling us that she's amazing.
I need someone to show me my place in all of this.
And also, do you know what
have the cheek to call the Force all of this?
You also have another problem. You have another problem in the fact that because of what's been established and how you're going about it, if you now make her lose fights, it's now going to seem stupid.
Yeah.
If she now starts losing fights, like if Kylo comes back and Kylo even dares touch her, this is like after she's been trained, it just wouldn't make any sense. It's like that man should be stone cold scared of Rey. Like if he sees Rey, he should run away.
I think my question to you guys is, let's just wrapping this thing up. Were you guys, when you say it just some things they're not going to make sense no matter what you do, and I concede that point. Pre-episode 7, were you expecting these films to make sense? These new films?
I was expecting a lot more than that, man. I mean, I thought obviously it's not going to be on the levels of the old trilogy or whatever. I never imagined in my wildest nightmares that it was going to be what it was. I seriously did. Like it was shocking to me. I was like, I could, like, with all those pictures we saw of the big round tables and the secretive meetings, and I was like,
walking around in France and Paris.
What did you say?
Walking around in France and Paris, writing those scripts, so those desperately hard scripts, right? Sending ransom videos, going, "Oh, we're desperately missing our wife and kids. Just sending you love."
How that is what you were doing? That script. You don't have to write that script on the toilet in like 2 days.
Chosen one. Listen, I didn't expect to see regular guys picking up lightsabers and holding their own against Jedi guys. I didn't expect to see black coon gollywogs. I mean, I didn't expect that. So those are the basics. Like you can say, "Oh, we expect him like Godfather 2." No, but I didn't expect to see regular guys picking up sabers and holding their own against guys trained by Snow. I didn't expect to see girls who'd never heard of the Force been able to do everything. I didn't expect to see black coon gollywogs. Sorry. So,
yeah, you know what? I mean, I would say that I'm actually surprised that,
and I'm not ashamed that I bought his toy and I threw it away. I threw it in the bin.
I would say is that I'm surprised at the lack of outrage at him, the Finn character. I'm surprised at the lack of outrage because it is outrageous.
And I feel so sorry for John Boyega because that is a very talented.
Don't own your name. Don't own your jacket. Don't own your gun. Don't even own your own profession.
It's terrible what they've done to him, man.
You know what? That's a scary thing. Nothing on that guy's body is his. Except his skin.
He's of no consequence because you're not
only his skin. Only the man's soldier. He owns only his skin is what he owns.
My whole thing is that at least
he got named by another person. Somebody else named him,
and he goes like a runaway slave. Yeah, Finn. Yeah, I think I like that. Yeah, I like that. It was shocking. And then Han Solo goes, "You like the gun? Keep it." Paul goes, "You like the jacket? Keep it." The woman that CGI character goes, "Oh, you can hold this saber for." He's keeping it on ice for Rey because he's holding that saber for Rey.
They
couldn't even make you a decent storm. I mean, okay, fine. At least make him a stormtrooper.
He was a sanitation worker.
I mean, come on, guys.
Couldn't actually just make the guy a soldier? Just a soldier. He's a soldier. He can shoot. He can shoot.
No, but you know what amazes me is that as you guys were writing the script, didn't you realize what you were doing to this?
Yes, they did. And look at Lauren Kasdan. The way Lauren. Okay, here's a weird thing about Lauren Kasdan. They were saying, okay, guys, when they were at the Star Wars, when they were promoting Force Awakens at Comic-Con, and he goes, okay, here's a question from the floor. If you guys had a saber, what saber would you have? Then this was something that was very weird that Kasdan said. One guy goes, oh, I think I'd have a green. And Kasdan goes, right, I guess I the way the guy talks, I guess I'm like a black lightsaber, yeah. I guess the first black lightsaber. Like, what the heck?
What?
I don't even understand why?
He said that?
Maybe that was trying to say that he's exasperated about all this diversity talk. So maybe that's what it was meant to mean or something.
Oh my god.
The question was like what color saber you'd want.
Yeah, what would you want if you had a choice? Like, obviously SLJ got a purple one because he asked George Lucas for it. So that was the joke from a fan from the floor to the panel.
You think he was saying that based on race?
I mean, why would you even make the comments first black lightsaber? Why even make that comment first black lightsaber?
Yes. Wait. Sorry, Meg. Is that a serious question?
I mean, that's just like because it's so extreme. But
here's my point. The reason why it's extreme, but not because it works two ways. It could be that he's so pro-inclusivity that he thinks it's ridiculous, so he's poking fun at people making a big deal about having the first black actor, first black this.
But is that what was being spoken of then?
No.
That's what I'm trying to say. So it's like, how would you connect? Because that was not the subject of conversation.
That's the way I think people read it. Otherwise, obviously, it would be a big deal. So obviously, that's how they read it. But when he said it, the way he said it, I'm like, that's odd.
Wait a minute, you said people read it what way?
No, they must have read it the way I'm saying that, oh, yeah, okay, that's just him with his, dry sense of humor, poking fun at the fact that we make such a big deal about having women and blacks and everything. That's probably how they read it.
Oh, I just thought, I mean, that's just a weird thing. I don't know.
But when I read it, I was like, okay, there's something odd about you, and the way you're saying it is like, okay. And then I got and watch what you've gone and done with our good friend Finn, and it all just stinks.
No, I mean it's very poor. It's very poor. So I mean that's why I'm surprised that more people haven't spoken about it because it's so obvious. It's like, my God, this is so they've just disrespected this character to a degree that I'm shocked. Poe Dameron is like, okay, you've got a Latino actor who is just, as if that guy wasn't in the movie. It doesn't make any difference. Like, so,
and why has he got that daft accent on? Just doesn't make any sense. It's almost like you're trying to talk like Han Solo. You got this silly characterization that he's chosen to go with the character.
That's why I said it was like he's that guy he's Luke from the last third of the movie. They took Luke's personality from the last third.
You know why I think you're completely right, because they need somebody to sell the TIE fighters and X-Wing.
I'm dead serious.
Yeah, because Rey is in a pie. She's not doing that. And you need to put out these toys. and then somebody
fulfilling an aspect like him and Finn is because he's black, so it's like they almost feel like they can't make him cool. The guy is so not cool that it's like, wow, man, how do you have a male character in a thing, and he's supposed to be a main character? This guy is the most.
I have never seen a. I mean, when I see what they do with Finn, I'm like, it scares me because no one's saying anything. It's not even a discussion. It's like I've never seen such an emasculated lead ever.
No, because people won't say anything because they need, like, people were saying on the Finn TV spots, like, look at his acting. His acting is so good. Look at the emotions that he's bringing out. They need this. I think. Do you know what?
Do you know what? That's a great point.
No, but very quickly, I think if you gave these fans, like, let's say Spielberg did this Star Wars film and, like, what's it called? Frank Darabont wrote the script. People may not actually know how to process it. Because if people know how to process something that's trash, because they can then put all of their fantasy into it. But when you're just giving it, then you're almost like how would these brain dead psychopaths process a Spielberg, Frank Darabont Star Wars film?
No, you made a good point, because the reality is this. They were scared of a black stormtrooper and a black leading guy who might have been a Jedi. They finally got the kind of black guy.
Yeah, they love him. It all died overnight.
So now it's like
died overnight.
So say what?
All the uproar died instantaneously. Once they saw
now like this new one with Finn is like it's so comfortable to watch. It's like great, yes, he's in his place. They don't have to worry. This guy is a clown. You know, he's just running after Rey, and Rey doesn't even care about him. It's good. The truth of the matter is that even if they now have some like bloody love story scene and love thing, it doesn't even matter anymore, because it's like this woman will drop you at look, she's focused on her place in all this, okay? You're basically like her wife. Like wife. No, seriously. She's like some kind of like weird like spouse who's like in the house. It's really strange, because you're like, look, you don't want
a loser.
You don't want to have female characters who are fulfilling those roles. But they've sort of now turned the male characters into the roles that they would typically not want female characters to be playing anymore. But it doesn't really work, because typically male heroic characters, or sort of male heroes in these sort of films, don't behave like this.
Seeing as we're all being real here, and I've got to be honest, and I started by saying I'm not pulling any punches. I'm going to be honest with you, I don't care what anybody thinks. John Boyega is the reason why he's the kind of character that I'd see when I was 10, and I wouldn't want his toy. Or if I bought his toy, I'd always make, when I'm playing with the toys, he'd get the short end of the stick. I mean, he represents the reason why I never liked the black characters and things. I always saw them, I saw them as losers.
They've always been treated poorly. It's like they've rarely.
And that is what they do to you subconsciously.
Subconsciously, it's so obvious. It's like you're looking at this. I'm like, why the hell would a child want a Finn?
Why would I want Finn's toy? Why?
You know what?
What did he do? What singular thing did Finn do? What singular somersault or backflip or critical kill or critical takedown of any bad guy did Finn do in Force Awakens? Because those are the standard things that guys do, like Han Solo blew somebody's head off in a cantina or something. You know, there's always things that people do. What big dog thing did Finn do in Force Awakens? That's a young guy's going to go, oh man, oh, remember when Finn did X? I got to get his toy, man.
Finn, look, like Half Hope said some time ago when he sent that video of the little kid who wanted to get who Finn, whatever. The little kids now, the young boys, have no choice but to go with Finn, like, because they don't have
to like go to Halloween dress up as Rey.
Exactly. They don't have a choice. It's like if you're watching this new Star Wars, the only thing you've got is Finn and Poe. So it's like, that's what you just got to do. Like, this is so, look, man, it's a shambles, because you've got a situation where little girls en masse, and I always say en masse because you're always going to get little girls who like Star Wars, obviously. But en masse, it's like, it's not their thing.
George Lucas knew what he did when he put a woman in charge of Star Wars. Okay, there you go. I've said it. I don't care. The guy knew what he did when he put a woman in charge.
Yeah, but George Lucas said he made Star Wars for 12-year-old boys. That was it.
Thank you for that point, because they asked him about that again recently in this last year's Star Wars celebration, and he omitted that. He goes, well, when I was younger, I made Star Wars for a 12-year-old child. George, that wasn't your quote.
That's
12-year-old.
You know what?
Liar, about what?
Liar, pants on fire.
When you watch Star Wars, you watch Star Wars, and it is so obvious. It's so obvious. It's obviously for young boys. It's like the whole thing is a young male fantasy. It's that the whole Star Wars. That's just what it is.
Well, it's no longer that anymore, is it?
Yeah, but the thing is that
it's been hijacked.
Young, like
basically, who's going to watch it? Chosen One, are you going to watch episode 8?
No.
I
know it's a lie.
I'm not watching it.
That is a lie. You know you're going to watch it.
Wait, I'm not watching it in the theater. Let's put it that
way. Jesus, bro.
Okay, Chosen One, why though? Can you just enunciate why exactly you're not going to be watching it in the cinema, knowing that this is the biggest film of the year?
Biggest film for who?
Okay. Why aren't you going to watch it? Explain.
Well, again, I feel that the continuity is gone, and it's like the Merc with Justice League. He has no interest. I have not seen Batman vs Superman to this day.
Whoa!
Wow!
So I'm not going. I have no incentive to go in there.
Listen, man. Batman v Superman was bad, man. That film was special, though it had a couple of scenes.
Meg, are you going to watch it? Not a trick question. It's a yes or no. You're going to watch it. What the?
Oh,
can you see, Chosen One, can you see the torture that JJ has done to human beings in the world? This is the gift of JJ to the world. Listen, I'm not going to lie. I'm going to watch it. And I'm going to watch it because, as I've said, it's like watching the Titanic scene. I just want to see.
Wait. How? You're literally going to sit in a cinema full of people?
Wrong. Not any cinema. I'm going to a special one that serves kebab.
Special one? You're going to a special one?
No,
because you're going to be watching this during the daytime then?
Yes, I'm watching at 12 noon, and they actually serve kebabs, hot dogs, food, drinks, booze. I'll probably drink before I watch it. Listen, I'll be there. I'll watch it.
You're going to be watching it drunk?
Yes, I don't care because I'll be there.
But wait, are you watching this on opening day?
No, listen. Whenever I get a ticket, man, I'm going to heckle. I'm going to heckle all the way through the film. And when she comes on screen, I'm going to shout "boo!" And I want people to know who I'm booing.
Man, but you know what? What if the movie doesn't do that well?
It's a disaster.
What if it doesn't do that?
And listen, Bob Iger's going to be killing somebody because that's all Bob Iger.
Oh, no, 100%. He will commit homicide, double homicide.
Yeah, because that is all.
If that doesn't make $1 billion,
I mean, you guys see it doing as I don't see it doing as well as episode 7.
Of course not.
I mean, if it does, then I will retire.
No. I've said it's going to make 1.5, and it's going to shock people.
Well, and also what I find funny is that people are already, just by some of the things that Mark Hamill has said and some of the potential spoilers as far as storylines, people are already weary about this movie.
Chosen One, Mark Hamill said that he actually had to retract what he said. He said that he was disappointed and he disagreed with what Rian Johnson had written for Luke. Then a big thing came out on the internet. Then they came and said, "Oh, I didn't really clarify. I meant that that it was a very challenging thing, and it took me in places I wasn't really hadn't gone. So it was actually quite, good exercise as an actor."
But that's what I'm saying. You can retract the statement all you want. It's still out there. You can instruct the jury to disregard what someone. It's out there.
And Cameron said he was categorically disappointed. He disagreed with what, and when because. See, this is what people can't handle. Luke is he's a binary character. That's what they just can't grapple with. Luke is the new hope. Luke is a straight shooter. That's who Luke is. Whether you like, maybe it's not very cool. Maybe you can't do some nice, dark, twisty thing. That's who he is.
That's who he was.
No, that's who he is. Okay, see, that is my great disagreement. Luke doesn't change. And I can bet that the arguments that Luke had with Brad when he said he didn't disagree with that, Luke doesn't go dark. Luke is never confused. Luke doesn't get confused. The only way I could have ever seen Luke going is where he becomes so disconnected with people that people don't know whether he's in touch anymore. That's where the complexity happens in episode 7, 8. 40 years later, he hasn't seen anybody. Nobody can really access him. And the people that idolize him are guys like Kylo Ren, who wants to be a Jedi. And Kylo Ren idolizes Luke more than a father, an absentee Han Solo, who he doesn't really respect. And Han Solo always had that little thing in him, even in the films where he goes to Leia, oh, well, I haven't got the Force, and all that kind of stuff. They always laid that little inferiority thing about him and Luke, and he wasn't all this mystical stuff. That's where your story goes. There is no complexity there. And that's where Leia's conflict comes into play. Because Han Solo may have his issues, and he's a drifter, he was never going to settle down, and he's off somewhere else, and he was never really around. It's not rocket science. So I'm like, listen, man, whatever.
I don't know. I'm looking at the promotion for it. I'm looking at the standalone posters for each. They're all dressed in these red velvet robes. I don't get it. So, I mean, it's just for me. I've seen enough warning signs. So when I say I'm not going to watch it in the theater, I mean it.
Damn.
I'm out. I mean, you guys have seen those posters, right?
Which poster?
Listen,
I haven't seen anything of
I've seen all the stuff, and I read all this. If I see spoiler, I click on it straight. I want the movie ruined. I want it ruined for me. I know everything there is to know about it. And because I'm going there as a spectator because I want to be a part of it. I want to be a part of this. It's not like you're not going to get away with trying to look. I will be there and I will jeer, I will laugh, I will snigger when I see Rey. I will be that guy in the cinema. I'll be that guy. So like, don't give me any of that. There's no way to look. That's like now, even in work, I have the iPhone. I don't even pretend. I say, guys, stop mucking about. That girl should not be there. She's too powerful. She makes no sense, and nobody can argue back. They can never argue back. Wherever you go, and for me, it's like, as long as you're just a guy that's there and you're saying what you're saying, because what Max Landis set the ripple through. That is why she said, I need help. Max Landis set the ripple through. Once the truth is there, you cannot pretend it doesn't exist. Once it's there, you can't, no matter how hard you try. JJ got caught out by a fan online, and he had to say, yeah, I missed the mark. And you claim you're a star from on Dinner of Five, all those back in the day, John Favreau, you're such a fan. How do you call yourself a fan and you screw up Han Solo's death? I mean, really? Really? Come on, mate. Come on. Pull the other one, mate. Really? The guy's a joke. As I said, George Lucas ruined Star Wars. J.J. Abrams killed Star Wars. He killed it. He put the body blow in there. He killed it. He made unique decisions which were critical blows to the health of Star Wars. It's like a sick virus spreading through. Like it's a critical infection and it's done. It doesn't matter what Ryan Johnson does, whatever. It's done. It will deteriorate. And I'm saying that 1.5 billion, and people are going to be dazzled. They're like, oh, but didn't you watch it? Yeah, I mean, I watched it. Oh, yeah, but I watched it. I don't know. Oh, what happened? You're watching a trailer where there's nothing in it. I haven't seen a single person jump up. I haven't seen a bounty hunter, a henchman. The only henchman you've got is still smashing his helmet into elevators. I mean, it's like when the Attack of the Clones came, like, oh my God, you see Jango Fett is doing. When you see General Grievous, Lucas knows what the cookies are that we need. He knows those little bits of things we need. You have to see something and try to go, oh man, I can't wait to see that happen. All I've seen is like angst and big words of duty and struggling with decisions. That's all. That is your Star Wars trailer. Struggling with decisions. It's not gonna go the way you think. I need someone to show me my place in all this. Oh, I need help. What's all this rubbish? What's actually happening in it?
I think that's the crazy part, is that the movies are about to come out and they're already on their TV spots. They've released all the trailers. I haven't got a clue what this film is. I literally don't have any idea. I'm like, how? The trailers, I don't know what's
all a mystery. It's all such a mystery. Who is Rey? What a mystery. Who is Snoke? What a mystery. Kylo Ren, you just killed your... What are you? What a mystery. It's so mysterious. Stupid rubbish, man.
That was a weird... Look, man, I mean, look, there's nothing to be said. I mean...
But don't worry. It will all be explained when you watch it. Then when we now watch it all, and we don't know anything more at the end of episode 8, don't worry. It'll all be explained in episode... I mean, come on, guys.
Episode 9 will be called an explanation. That will be what is called an explanation, because it's going to have to be.
Well, can I tell you a secret? The reason why they're not going to explain who Rey is in episode 8 is for one simple reason. Nobody that's making that film knows who the henchman is.
You know what's so funny?
Nobody that's making that film knows
who is she?
If you ask Ryan Johnson doesn't know. Ask JJ doesn't know. Nobody knows who she is.
I think that's an important point, because even if that question is answered in episode 8, it's not going to feel credible. It's like that's something
it can't be credible. It cannot be credible.
This is what Abrams is known for since Lost, because Abrams, it is known that give you something like a question mark and
I haven't watched Lost.
Oh no, figure it out. He's a guy that makes questions but isn't mature enough to actually give those answers. And he thinks it's cool just to throw out questions and be like, oh my gosh, mystery. Oh,
I mean, don't get me wrong, Happy. You can do that a little bit. And I think that was effective in Lost season 1. But I mean to all the way through, that's not going to work.
I haven't seen it.
Please spoil it. If JJ Abrams made it, spoil it for me, please. Spoil it.
I mean, I honestly don't see you sitting through that entire series, Merc. I'm not going to.
I mean, I'm going to watch it one day.
I doubt you'll.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'll pass with you.
I think you'll love season 1 because you spoke.
Who died? Who survived? Who killed who? Spoil it.
Look, Abrams is a loser, man. I mean, to really come back. Don't you have other films that you want to do? So you were literally waiting in the wings all this time so you could take over.
I hope no. How it was meant to go is that they begged him to come back because he was so amazing. Then he goes, "Oh no! I can't. I'm too busy." This guy has been sat on his backside since 7 came out, because once James Cameron comes in and goes, that movie wasn't very creative. It was just a rehash of A New Hope. That's what James Cameron just laid on the table there. J.J. Abrams knows what went down. That is why he wants to come back. So this guy jumped back within a split second. That's why J.J. Abrams is that kind of stuck-up guy who would love to have made one that made 800 billion and he never returned because it's just so fantastic. That's why he didn't commit to doing episode 7, 8, and 9. Oh, you're moving on to different things. That guy has always just been a bag of hot air. from day one. As I said, you press J.J. Abrams now and Google him now. Every 2 or 3 images you see of him, this guy looks as if he is trying to explain nuclear physics. Any image you see of the guy, he's posing, acting like he is Albert Einstein's long-lost nephew. Like, what exactly are you saying, mate, that's so extraordinary? And when you bring up the volume, you'll find that the guy's talking trash.
Well, you know what, look, final words. I don't know if I'm going to see it, you know. I mean, I think I will. I think I will, but it's touch and go. You know?
Final words for me is that I'm going to see it and I'm going to enjoy it now because...
I think I will.
Now because it's not going to get... See, Force Awakens surprised me. I wasn't ready for it. Now that I know exactly what they're doing, what is happening, it's going to be a much more fruitful and pleasurable watch for me. That's my bag.
Did I say that again?
My brief...
now I know what they are doing. It's going to be a much more fruitful and pleasurable watch for me because there are no surprises. I know what's going to happen. I know what's going on, basically.
I'm never watching another Star Wars film under Kathleen Kennedy and Iger in the cinema. I may watch it in other ways that we don't go into full detail, but basically I will not be watching a Star Wars film in the cinema because for me, as of right now, Star Wars is complete and utter trash, and I despise it.
Somebody said that.
And Kathleen Kennedy is a complete idiot. So is Bob Iger.
Here.
That's my Snoke's Miss Window.
Sorry, what?
Yeah, I just saw it online. It's online. So Snoke's Miss Window. When he fell out of the window, he didn't really die.
Look, for all you know, he very well could be.
Yeah.
No. That would actually be funny to me.
For all you know, listen, as I said, that guy is playing it. Because it's J.J. Abrams, the guy is playing it. Because it's J.J. Abrams, that guy is playing it.
Yeah, but what's wrong with him being Plagueis? Is that a bad thing?
It's just so cheesy. That's the point. It's just so cheesy and so predictable. That's what I'm saying. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just so cheesy and predictable. Like when he did Khan in whatever you call it, even though I never saw the second Star Trek, when they said, when they said, boy, he's trying to mirror what happened in the other the original Star, they just call this guy Mr. Mirror, basically. So basically, I know that he's going to try to find a way to put Khan in part 2. And then, surprise, surprise, they say, combat bubbly guy was Khan. I said, what a revelation. Listen, J.J. Abrams, he wants to do his own little whoa, what a shocker. Or maybe it's like, it's Plagueis, and maybe Rey is Plagueis' long-lost daughter. Or no, maybe the twist is that Rey is Luke's mother. Stupid, daft idiots, man. Listen, whatever.
Okay, last word, chosen one.
Good discussion. I agree with the Merc that the ship is sinking, and I can hear the band playing. It's done. To all of you out there who enjoy this new franchise, enjoy it while you last. I will not be in the cinema, but I'll catch it eventually. And it's a sad story.
Yeah, well, that is, I definitely agree. Look, man, I think we've covered everything, really.
Well, we didn't cover Harvey and Kevin, but
that's a whole lot.
Kevin, look here. Guys, man, the way that Kevin has been exonerated is scary. That's what I'm going to say.
Can I say that? I would pay
has been X'd out is scary.
I'd pay $1 billion just to know what he's up to now.
No joke. So he should be on suicide watch.
Is it McDonald's? Is he having a kebab? Just what's he up to? That's what I want to know.
Suicide watch. Let's be serious, man. Incredible.
All right. That's
And I know. So I hope that's right. He deserves it because a prick.
And I recommend.
What?
I recommend Deliveroo. You can get KFC. You can get McDonald's. You can get Nando's. You can get.
You hope what?
I recommend Deliveroo.
Oh, Half Hope said something. You hope
Brett Ratner. I hope they take down Brett Ratner because he's a prick.
Guys, Deliveroo, man, you get everything. KFC, Burger King, Wagamama's, everything. Amazing.
Is that better than Hungry House?
Yeah, Deliveroo, they do everything.
Deliveroo is better because they go and get it for you.
They get it, like you can literally get all the places you always want to. It's almost like it's now takeaway, but for like $2.50 or something. Amazing.
Ding,
Right.
ding, 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 ding.
Right, cheers, everybody. Good one.
Yeah, nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
no matter here.
Later.
Good night.